Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that?
All right, Joseph. It is Wednesday, November 24th at 11:15 p.m. And we're going to do this podcast until tomorrow.
Yes.
So what did you make? What did you make us? Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Well, yeah. Actually,
what did you make me?
I made nothing so far.
We have supposed to reenact the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special where that Peppermint Patty demands Charlie Brown make her a feast.
Oh.
And the Peanuts gang. You ever seen the Thanksgiving
I've
special?
Seen it. Like, do they have a Thanksgiving special?
Yeah.
The Peanuts?
It's amazing. Yeah. So like,
I don't remember that.
Yeah. So Peppermint Patty. And the her domestic partner Marcy.
Yep. Marcy.
She makes a demand of Chuck, as she calls him.
Yeah.
To make her a Thanksgiving feast. And Charlie Brown's like, well, one, he's a child, and she gave him no time to do it, and they have limited resources.
I remember this now.
Yeah. So they put together this meal, which is all like toast with butter,
right? Jelly beans.
Get jelly beans and like a bunch of other junk food,
pretzels and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And Snoopy's there to help. Like he's like a chef. He's like,
yeah.
And then Peppermint Patty shows up for Thanksgiving. She's like, "Where's the turkey? Right. Where's the pumpkin pie? Where is?" And Charlie Brown's like, "Listen, bitch, fucking invited yourself in my fucking house,
right?
You fucking made unrealistic demands."
Yeah.
And the fact that I even pulled this together as an 8-year-old boy, I think
right.
And my dog, who was slaving away in the kitchen.
Yeah, poor Snoopy.
Yeah.
That is kind of a weird, like, dystopian Lord of the Flies feel to the Peanuts, because there's
no parents around.
Yeah, it's like
the only guidance they have is a teacher that speaks in like riddles. It's like
right.
And
it's like Zardoz or something. It's like,
yeah, it's like some dystopian sci-fi film. Well, and yeah, I don't know what the lesson was of Thanksgiving.
Why don't they show that special anymore? Because I always see, when I'm flipping around on like Hulu or whatever, I see like advertisements like, we're going to run the Charlie Brown pumpkin special.
Yeah, the Great Pumpkin.
And I often see the Christmas one, but they gloss over the Thanksgiving one.
People have made the Great Pumpkin has been pretty relevant because a lot of people make QAnon comparisons to the Great Pumpkin.
That's great.
Where Linus waits in a pumpkin field for a deity that will never visit.
Yeah.
I think that's a great critique or whatever of religion, itself. Like you're waiting for your deity, like what's so unusual about Linus waiting in a field for the Great Pumpkin to show up? I mean, clearly that's who he worships. That's his god.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people who say things like, "I'm going to meet Jesus," and we're all supposed to be like,
right,
okay, cool, that's totally normal. That's a totally normal thing to say.
It is weird. I remember there's like a lot of Christian elements of the Christian faith still believe in like that when you have communion, the wine literally turns into the blood of Christ. Like that like it's not a metaphor. It's like
in the Lost Boys when Michael.
Yeah.
When Keith Sone's like, "You're drinking my blood, Michael," and then thou shalt not eat.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
I heard they're rebooting that.
They make those threats all the time. Yeah. I always say,
I hope it's gritty.
Oh yeah, gritty reboot. The gritty reboot of a gritty movie.
Yeah.
You can't make there's no point. Like there's no point in remaking these movies from like
I get why people remade movies from the 50s. The style was so different, but like you could watch The Lost Boys, and there's some antiquated shit in there. But like, do you really need to have like a scene where like the Corey Haim's characters on like Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah.
No. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, it's not going to update the movie. Those movies are like, they still hold up till today.
I was going to say, I haven't seen it lately, but I'll bet you Lost Boys holds up super well.
A lot of 80s movies hold up pretty good because the pacing changed in the 80s. Like, I can see how 70s movies don't hold up, because 70s movies, especially like a lot of them, the pacing is slow as shit.
Yeah. They're basically like 4 20-minute long scenes.
Yeah, pretty much. And this went everywhere. This conversation, this went everywhere. But we were talking about. I guess we could talk about. It's gonna be Thanksgiving soon.
Yes.
And if you told me, I feel like this year just zoomed.
Oh yeah.
By it was Thanksgiving last year. And last year was weird because we didn't have a vaccine yet.
Nope.
Or not. It wasn't available yet. And everybody, there are tons of people that give a fuck. They got COVID, most of them.
Yeah, a lot of them.
I saw this one joke somebody said about Thanksgiving this year. It was Son Piker does a show with Ethan Klein called The Leftovers, and I watched that show.
Yeah.
And it's like I feel like they ripped off our show, actually.
Okay, sure.
But they're very successful and they're like millionaires.
Yeah.
So, but they talk about current events. No one does that except us, right? We're the only ones.
It's a small niche, but yes.
Very small. And then, if anything, YSGOAT probably created the current event. People
I'd say we're pioneered it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Early adopter. But they were doing tips of like dealing with like your MAGA uncle, whatever. But like sometimes make a joke. I think I'm pretty sure he was one said, made a joke and said that like a lot of people won't have to worry about their MAGA uncle showing up because he probably died of COVID.
Yeah, that is probably true.
It's super fucked up that like to laugh at that, but it is actually kind of funny. I mean, like, like suicides are tragic. Right.
Oh yeah.
Suicides are tragic, and like death is tragic. But like, I think people who publicly claim that either make COVID misinformation or refuse and make claims about the vaccine being fake and not going to get it and all that stuff, and then getting COVID and dropping dead of it. It's like was it the Divine Comedy or like
something.
Like it's like there is humor to it. I'm sorry. Like there is something very funny in a very dark way.
Yeah.
Of like a chud who, right from the beginning when COVID started, talking about how it wasn't real, not taking it seriously, saying they're never going to do anything about it. They're not going to wear masks. They're going to be they're dicks about it. They're mean about it, and then the vaccine, they spread lies about it, and then they get it, and they drop dead, and you're just like, I don't know what to say. It's like somebody who's like, I don't believe getting hit by a car is real, and they run into traffic, and you're just like,
there is a website. I wish I remembered the name of it, but it's basically it compiles all the stories of people that died of COVID after having made fun of COVID on social media, and it's limited to that. It's not just like, oh, here's a person that we think was a chud and they got COVID. It's like screenshots of them making fun of COVID and then a screenshot of their obituary or whatever, or their GoFundMe.
The GoFundMe for their funeral.
Yeah.
And Facebook, I mean, how many times have I seen that storyline play out of like the guy spreading months talking about COVID's not real, making fun of people for wearing masks, calling them cucks and wimps or whatever. And then they get it. Oh, then the vaccine comes out and they talk shit about it. And then they get it. And then you see it. And the guy's like, I'm not feeling well. And the doctor. And then the GoFundMe. And it's like a story in 3 or 4 acts. And you're just like, is this a psyop? Like, what is this? This is like, you've seen it so many times. It's so repetitious.
This website, I clicked on it and I was thinking, oh, I'm probably going to see like a lot of websites where there's like, 15 entries and then like one a month or one a week afterwards, whatever. This thing's updated daily with like they just never run out of material. and it's yeah, I mean, it's like funny. I mean, gallows humor, I guess it is, just because there's so much evidence now. There's so, I don't know, it's crazy. But yeah, every day you see a new group of people, and yeah, there probably are going to be fewer COVID denial conversations at dinner this Thanksgiving than there were last.
The conversation will be about like,
remember when Uncle Jim did?
remember when Uncle Jim put on a MAGA hat for the first time, and we were like, "What the fuck is this?" And remember when Uncle Jim said Saddam Hussein caused 9/11?
Yeah,
that was the good old days back when. Remember when Uncle Jim was defending George Zimmerman?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, remember when Uncle Jim was defending Kyle Rittenhouse? Oh man, he would have been really happy.
Yeah, he would have.
Verdict if he didn't drop dead back in September.
Yeah.
If only he lived long enough. It's like me, like hoping to live to like see the Star Wars prequel. Like we make jokes about that.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure to at least be alive to see the Star Wars prequel. Let me tell you, after I saw the Star Wars prequel, kind of was questioning my mortality and my priorities. Like, yeah, these movies.
Yeah. Well.
No, I mean, no, you make jokes about that. I feel like now I'm at a point where when it comes to entertainment, I don't really care. I don't live like I used to live. Like I used to be like, man, I'm so excited. I think like Endgame kind of like ended that for me a bit.
That was Endgame?
It? A bit. And the Star Wars prequel not living up to what it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I really would like to know what happens to Grogu, so I'm going to have to stay alive. Now, maybe also to help support my son and
that's what I was going to say.
Him, but I also need to know how my baby Yoda does too.
Prior to having a kid, I used to live for a lot of these pop culture things.
I think we talked about that. Like the wanting to make sure you're alive to see like a stupid movie.
I remember wanting to, and with the Phantom Menace, so it's just like hoping that I could, like that was a big deal to me. Is I want to like make sure I'm able to see this. Like,
do you remember when there were supposedly people waiting online for like a month?
Yeah,
to see it.
Yeah,
that is. Let me tell you, I never was like that. I didn't. I'm glad to say that, like, I went to just get tickets like a day earlier. There was no line.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of my friends, and we showed up that day. I didn't have to wait or anything like that. But, like, man, what? Come on. The movie, like, sucked. Like, 95, a huge majority of people that left that theater were like, that movie was underwhelming at best.
I would say it's underwhelming. I do remember going to see it in the theater and just feeling like a real kind of electric thrill with the crawl and
like, oh my god,
and the music and the John Williams score and seeing some of the tech and Obi-Wan as a younger
ship's
man.
landing.
It was just like, it was really cool. I will say afterwards, I'm like, did I like, like you wonder, like, did I like it or did I?
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, well. Well, we have a full Thanksgiving episode tonight. I'm glad we decided to go with, we're each going to deliver a list of 25 things we're grateful for. That's what
I'm gonna, let's see. Probably do like a handful. I could make, I mean, it depends on like how meaningless the last ones get.
Right.
Like, thankful my wife and my kid, and then like
green Skittles, like
green. Green. I don't know about green. Maybe orange. Pocket lint nerds that I try to trick my kid. I was like laughing about that today, like how your kid could like totally broke their tooth on a like, because like when you eat a nerd, you kind of, well, most people experienced nerd eaters would know, like, to not just go like, you gently chomp. Sometimes they're not as soft as the others, but the Sonic ones would be mushy enough that nothing to worry about. You go into it and you're just like, and then it's like, Dad, I need to get a crown. Hey,
well, fortunately, that didn't happen. I was just merely accused of Like
Just being an awful dad. Like, you know what? I may have been an awful dad, but I saved 62 cents.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I stand by
Did
my
you try
decision.
that new ice cream place that's near us?
Oh yeah. Actually, they were giving out free cones like on their first day or two, and
I didn't go to that day.
we went to that, and then we went one time after.
Oh,
So what?
It's I don't want to name the name because we're not affiliated.
Yeah. What was
But
your?
it's really good.
It's good.
Like it is phenomenal. Like it's better than it's probably some of the best ice cream I've had in a while.
Yeah.
Like,
it is very good. Because our
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. What?
No, our previous options were like Baskin Robbins, and there's a Froyo place.
Yeah.
And I think there's a Haagen-Dazs or a Ben and Jerry's.
That closed. The Haagen-Dazs closed. So
Right.
yeah.
But this place is the real deal. This is like good, feels homemade ice cream.
It's also like really priced well. Like it may seem like inexpensive, but for what it is, like if that was in like the city, that shit would be like double price easily.
Yeah.
Like it is. Yeah. I was like blown away by it. I was like, oh wow, this is good. You know, it's like you're eating something. It's like Baskin Robbins in these places. They just put a bunch of junk in it. But at the end of the day, the ice cream, the actual ice cream itself is like okay. You know what I mean? This is like the ice cream is good. You know what I mean?
I do, yeah.
Like, you know, it's like getting a pizza and like you can put a bunch of shit on it, but the actual pizza still sucks.
Right.
But if you get like the right dough and cheese and sauce, that's the most important part than all the other crap. And that's what I think is great about this is like the actual ice cream itself.
Yeah.
Is delicious.
I think so. I lived next to like an ice cream place like this when I lived in Winter Park, Florida. And it was like you could just get there. Literally, it was just called like sweet cream ice cream, like almost like unflavored ice cream, and it was so good. I mean, it was just there's
an ice cream place in Denton that's really good. They're like a place that it's been around like 100 years or something. They have a couple in the DFW area, but there's one in Denton Square. But I would say this is better in that place.
Well, this is, I think it's a chain, like it's a small chain, but I think it's a chain out of Ohio. And there was they have one other location somewhere around here. Because my wife brought some home once. She went out with a friend and brought home like a pint of their blue Cookie Monster or something ice cream.
Where the new one or?
Yeah.
Okay.
She and our neighbor, she and this woman went out and they went to this ice cream place and came back with it. But it's really good. Yeah. And I think I just got a coupon for a free cone in the mail.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Gift of the ages. Let me tell you though, actually, you know what? I totally forgot. Well, I guess I'm thankful for that. Clearly you are too.
Yeah, I would say. Well, yeah. Well, my Thanksgiving list was actually a bit of subterfuge. I originally thought like, hey, we could talk about things we're thankful for, and then you're like, no, that sounds like.
What? Well, I mean, I just like I'm at 9 years old. I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. I mean,
and it's like it's such a weird holiday. It's like
super colonial. It's like
well, there's like these two holidays. It's like two different holidays. It's like you're supposed to meet as a family and have dinner. And like the one thing I was like a Thanksgiving in comparison to like, you know, growing up Jewish. So I like Thanksgiving because I felt like I could actually participate in Thanksgiving. Sure. Like we grew up, I grew up in a Jewish family, like 100% Jewish family.
Yeah.
And we didn't have Christmas or any of that stuff. And Christmas just dominates 2 months out of the year. And the majority of the kids are Christian or everything like that. And you want to participate in society.
Yeah. And
the one thing I like about Thanksgiving is I was like, we can do that. And everyone's like, welcome, you're an American or whatever. If you're not, who cares? Get your turkey, enjoy it, or whatever, your tofurkey.
Yeah.
Whatever weird tofu-based grizzle mess you're gonna eat.
Oh,
go ahead. What?
We traditionally, I make a risotto, a butternut squash risotto.
Oh, I think you told me about this.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's like autumnal or fallish.
Do you encase it in a fake turkey shape?
but we did buy one of those fake turkey products like a month ago to give it a test run, and it sucked. So we're not going to do that.
You never had them before? I've had them a couple of times.
I don't like them.
I've
never found a good one.
Like the first couple of bites are good, and then after a while you're like, you know what? This is fake. Like, yeah. I mean, of course it's not, but I'm like, I just rather not have it. I'd rather have like either have the turkey or don't. You know, it's like the same thing. It's like diet soda. I used to drink soda all the time up to until in my early 20s. And then one day I decided I'm all this ton of weight. Yep. And I'm just gonna stop drinking soda altogether. And people are like, oh, I drink diet. I'm like, no, diet soda is disgusting. I'd rather just not drink it at all.
It's like a slurry of chemicals. Yeah. We did buy Impossible Nuggets. My kid doesn't eat meat. Not like I didn't raise her that way or anything, but like we just never have meat around the house. She doesn't eat meat. And she loves
I want to steak so bad.
Well, my wife will eat meat on occasion. You know, she'll get like
right in front of your kid.
Well, yeah, I mean, like she had a burger the other day, drove through Whataburger. But my kid loves the Impossible Nuggets, so we're gonna have those too. It'll be good.
You ever get an air fryer yet?
No, I may be getting one for Christmas. I would like to get an air fryer at some point. Game changer.
You know, there's a lot of people who try to like trash people for enjoying their air fryer, but those people are misguided fools. The air fryer to me, like, I talked about this before in here. The air fryer to me is what the microwave was supposed to be back in the 80s.
Yeah.
The air fryer is genius. Like, I don't know, like how much if it saves energy on an oven comparison to running an oven. It was like almost all the foods you can make in an oven, you could put in an air fryer.
Huh.
Just because it's called an air fryer doesn't mean you can like roast meats in there. You can bake in there. There's a lot of things you could do with it. The only limitation is to the size of the air fryer. But it's a game changer. Like it really is. You get like, you know, it's like really quick. It cooks quickly. You know, you still have to be careful. You could burn your food easily, but you'll love it.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, you're just gonna. That's all you do. You're gonna talk about. All you're gonna do is talk about the air fryer for like 3 months. Like first 3 months of your air fryer life, you're gonna be like,
the fry life.
And I think that's why people probably hate. You know, it's like people like discover like a club. You know, like AA or
right. Here comes Billy.
Club, they join Fight Club or a religion. You know, it's like that. It's like the air fryer. You know, it's like talking about like, hey, you know, what would be really good to cook in the air fryer.
Yeah, I do see every once in a while on TikTok. I see people put stuff in the air fryer, and one guy I want to say he put snow cones, not like an actual snow cone, but like, you know, what are those ho-hos, those hostess things? They're like, are they called snow cones?
No, I know what you're talking about. It's the pink marshmallow.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's from the Simpsons episode. I was making a reference before about the steel workers. This someone with John Waters, and Homer starts getting nervous thinking that Bart's gay, and so he goes to Bart and says, he gives him a choice between like I don't know what it was, like the cupcake or the snowball. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And Bart picks the snowball, and Homer's like, ooh.
Well, anyway, this guy put a couple snowballs in the air fryer, and they came out, and they looked really good. They've kind of like expanded dramatically.
If you put that in the microwave, you know what would happen to it?
Oh, it'd like liquefy and then explode.
Yeah. It just like melts. Like
not in a good way. I don't love them. I use the microwave very rarely. I take that back. I use it a lot to like heat up water.
I use it to like soften potatoes really quickly.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So then I could throw it in the toaster or the air fryer.
Yeah.
That's it. The microwave is literally.
It's now a sous chef.
The microwave is a layup. That's all it is. It's like, hey, toss me the ball. That's it. I mean, sorry, microwave. I mean, you know, we use it to heat up some things like bags of popcorn.
The microwave is.
You're really good at that popcorn.
Yeah.
Microwave. I could do more.
I don't know. It is clumsy and random like a blaster. It's like not. I remember when we first got a microwave way back in the day. Like I thought you could like cook a chicken in it or something.
You
And it
could,
was like,
but you have to like do it right, and it has to be like
it still sucks.
it may come out like as a mutant monster.
Yeah. Ugh,
You know what I love about bread in the microwave is like
nothing. Nothing.
no. You could be like you can put it in there and get like really soft and mushy.
Yeah.
Like if you do it just for like 20 seconds. But if you do it for like 35 seconds, it becomes a hard, disgusting, indigestible rock.
It's because
It's
I think
amazing how the microwave does that. It's a temperamental beast. It's like, hey, you know what? You ever have like I know it's sad, but like I really like, I haven't had it in a while, a microwave grilled cheese. It's like the most biggest struggle meal. But it just the cheese melts and it's soft. But again, you got 30 seconds. Any more than that, your bread's gonna turn into that like. You ever keep it in there too long? On the bread?
All the moisture gets sucked out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but like but if you put it in the microwave for just 20, 25 seconds, it makes the bread softer and a little wet, but like in a good way, not like in a weird like Eddie Murphy comedy bit description
right.
where he's talking about the mama burger. So yeah, I guess I'm thankful for the air fryer.
All right.
All right, here's my list. I got my wife, my kid, the ice cream place that opened up, the air fryer. These are like really good things. I mean, like, other people would probably bring up like friends and loved ones and like
not me
choices they made, but also you just gotta enjoy the little things in life. Sometimes people like they don't want to be bothered with a lot of things. They just want to go through a drive-through and get something quick to eat. They just want to go, they don't want, not everything has to be a project. People just want to put on Seinfeld or some show, laugh for a little bit, just sit there,
That's what the holidays about.
Well, just life in general.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, not everyone can be an adventurer. You see these people, they like so-called TikTok stories. My favorite was like TikTok travel.
Yeah.
Somebody posted this this comparison. You ever hear like it's like the music, but then there's like the weird screwed up music?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Those are funny. And I'm like, who makes those? Like, so someone's showing like Zion Park, I think in Utah. And they show this like beautiful model going through there, and then she's the only one there, and it's amazing to visit. But then it crosses up with what it's really like when you go there, and it's crowded as fuck.
Yeah,
and you can't see shit, and it's congested, and it's not open space at all.
Yeah, that's
like whatever. Like into the thick of it.
Yeah, right.
Thick of it. Like all fucked up.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I don't know what that has to do with Thanksgiving, but. I guess it's just saying, there's nothing wrong with just taking it easy. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Not everybody can change the world.
Right.
Sometimes we're just not meant to be, I mean, like.
This is really depressing.
No, it's not. It's not depressing. It's not. You don't have to. I'm saying, like, I'm not telling people to like do nothing. You should do stuff, but like, there's nothing wrong with like there's a lot of pressures in the world. It's time to get a little dark now. Yeah. Joseph, you ready to go to the darkness? No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like the one thing in this country is there's a lot of pressure on people, a lot of pressure on jobs, a lot of pressure on like, did you accomplish enough in life? Did you do this in life? And there's things that are more important than that. It's easier when people. I love that when like really successful people say that though.
Right. Yeah.
Like, would you be saying that if you weren't successful? Yeah. No. Like was it Richard Branson, the rebel billionaire?
Yes.
Remember when he tweeted this thing? This was like a couple years ago. He tweeted about how the importance of taking a vacation.
Oh yeah.
And people were like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Right.
Like, what world are you living in? Like, it's impossible to take a vacation in this country.
It's yeah, that's tone deaf. That's
just a little. I think a lot of people are tone deaf. It's a weird time of year.
For sure.
You know, it's like there's a lot of things about this time of year. It's like they say the holidays are depressing, but it also gets darker early.
Oh yeah, like
Sometimes
literally, yeah.
Like here, hasn't been rainy or anything like that, but sometimes around this time it's usually very gray too.
Yep.
So that has a lot to do with setting people's depression. Sometimes, like, so if they're not feeling like they're in a good place in life, and all of a sudden it's dark at 5:30, or it's a gray all day.
Yeah, it can add up.
And then the top of it, it's like the holidays. Now I know Joseph wants to have this positive Thanksgiving thing. What are you thankful for, Joseph?
Well, if you know me, I'm thankful for two things. First, the revamped dollar menu at Taco Bell, which is available at any Taco Bell between the hours of 5 and 11.
75% with their new guarantee of
75%
less rat hair.
If you mention the code Joseph, you can get.
What do you get?
I don't know. You get actually the second thing I'm thankful for, which is my new collection of NFTs, which I've been
from Taco Bell.
From Taco Bell.
Crunchwrap, lazy lion.
You can get a limited edition lazy chalupa, or lazy...
that sounds kind of racist.
Lazy gordita.
You know what gordita is?
I think it just means like a fat, right? Is that
you're like a fat boy, a fat girl? Gordita and gordita.
Oh,
I remember someone told me that, and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Why would they name it that? Did they know that?" They're like, "Probably not."
Like a lot of, I remember when I took Spanish in high school, I started to like realize. I mean, I obviously I should have realized this all along. That like a ton of town names in Florida had Spanish names, and I always remembered like Boca Raton was really kind of like a luxurious exclusive area, but in Spanish I think it means rat's mouth, which is like a weird name.
Rat's mouth.
Yeah, Boca.
Which fits into Taco Bell's new guarantee of 75% less rat hair.
That is my third NFT coming out. Well, it's like so no, I got the same.
I know what you mean. I'm thankful for their new smoky flavored Baja Mountain Dew Blast. It's where the car in front of you that rolls coal blast your car with it, making your Baja Blast smoky.
On a serious note, I'm thankful. Look, I'm thankful for friends and family, and for keeping it real small. Me, my wife, and my kid are going to spend tomorrow Thanksgiving together, just doing a small Thanksgiving, and that's good. I mean, it's important to kind of remember those core things. There's very few people
like your kid.
Well, there's very few people in the world that you travel through life with, and it's good to kind of step back and recognize them. That's it.
And it's been a weird time. It's like,
yeah,
this year has been really weird. Like last year was like a bizarre fever dream.
Yep.
Because with the election and COVID and shutdowns and like protests and all that stuff, all kinds of crazy shit that happened last year, and then the promise of like a vaccine this year.
Yep.
Finally getting it, but things are opening up, things are back to normal. Did you see though that like they said more people died of COVID this year than last year?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It makes,
I mean, I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there have been more months of COVID this year than there were months of COVID last year.
Right. That makes little sense too.
Theoretically. And COVID started relatively small. I mean, like the smart people knew,
especially in that area.
Yeah. The smart people knew it was going to get big just from the statistics of it. But like for a little while, it was just like basically the state of Washington got hit bad. And then it was like Maryland and New York and stuff. And then it kind of got everywhere. So I guess I believe it. I guess that is a thing I'm real thankful for, is that like, we knock on wood. I was going to say, knocking on all the woods around me. Well, we made it through the parts where we didn't have any tools. Now we have the vaccine, and
the kid vaccine finally too.
Kid vaccine and stuff. So like,
thankful for that.
Yeah. So we have like some tools to work with. I mean, obviously we can all still get the coronavirus, that could happen, but like the odds are lower and the seriousness of it might be lower, so you have something to work with there.
My kid gets his Saturday, his second one.
Yeah. Mine gets hers on,
right.
I want to say, yeah, I wanted to say the first, but that doesn't make sense because I think your kid got his like a good week before mine.
He gets his on let's see, he gets his on the 27th.
All right, mine might be the first then.
So yeah, it's like the Wednesday or something.
Yeah,
I remember you got No, I mean, listen, I'm thankful for modern science.
Yeah,
I mean, it's why we're here.
Yeah,
why a lot of people get to live. A bigger majority of people in the world get to live at old age.
Well,
people, unfortunately, the life. I was talking to my wife about this, like life expectancy.
Yeah,
like making jokes like what, which states have the highest and which have the lowest.
Right.
Texas falls in. Let's see, life expectancy in Texas is 79. It's not the lowest.
Yeah,
it doesn't fall into the highest.
I believe it. I would wonder.
Such a big state, though.
It's a big state, and honestly, like
variables involved.
A lot of southern states. Well, it's hard to say. A lot of southern states are like super backwards. So
you're not going to believe it. Do you want to know what's the worst one? Oh my God, the shock. You're not.
What is it?
Take a guess. What do you think the worst state for life expectancy in the United States is?
Let's get like Alabama or Mississippi.
West Virginia.
Oh, I should have seen that coming. Yeah.
Don't worry. Alabama and Mississippi are in the top like 5 or 10 or something like that.
I was going to say
West Virginia is like, I don't know if it's like number 1, like Guam or something. I don't know. It's like, but.
Well, West Virginia makes perfect sense, and probably because a lot of people die real young from health reasons. It's weird. Like some southern states, like California's life expectancy is probably lower than it really should be, simply because like a lot of homeless people wind up there because the weather's generally pretty good and they have good social services. And if people flock to there and die young, then your rate is going to get screwed up. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like living there equals low life expectancy.
The other reason why West Virginia's rates are lower too is because Joe Manchin likes to stick his head out the window and shoot people walking by his yacht mansion.
His yacht runs off of retired coal miners.
He like, fill it up, got another one.
Yeah. Did you ever see that movie Idaho Transfer?
What?
Did you ever see that movie Idaho Transfer?
Sounds familiar.
It's like a 70s sci-fi movie. I want to say Peter Fonda's in it.
Oh, man, I never heard of it then, no.
Well, basically, there's time travel experiments. And so like they're sending these people back into the past and the future. And anyway, one of them winds up in the future and she gets picked up by a car, but they just chuck her in the trunk and the trunk converts her into fuel. Like it's,
oh my God. That's like, a movie?
Yeah, it's called Idaho Transfer.
Man, I want to look that up. That's amazing. Oh man, that's like crazy.
It's very bizarre. It's like a super artsy kind of weird.
Oh, trust me, if they can convert people to fuel, people would be doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm thankful for my human fucking powered engine. Saved me a lot on gas.
Oh shit.
Maybe a heartless ghoul, but gas prices. Come on, guy. If I don't do that, I won't be thankful for anything else.
Right.
Speaking of being thankful, though, you know what I'm thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
The first 2 episodes of Hawkeye.
Oh, that was so good. It was so good.
I'm kidding. I'm not really thankful for that. The corporates, whatever. I mean, what is wrong with some entertainment?
Sometimes? Yeah. Well, we're going to start tonight's show with
we've been talking how long now?
An hour.
Like, this podcast, it got really dark and it got really dumb, and it got really funny, and then it got really sad.
Well, we were going to talk about Hawkeye and Cowboy Bebop, and then we have there's not a ton of news stuff that we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about the Rittenhouse and the Aubery verdicts and some other stuff, and then call it a holiday. But yeah, let's start with Hawkeye. What did you think of Hawkeye?
It was Hawkalicious.
It was good.
It was really good. It was probably the best looking show out of the. So what is there's been? I mean, I don't really count What If because it's cartoon. So
we got WandaVision,
Falcon
and Winter Soldier,
Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki,
yeah,
and then this.
Yep.
This is by far the best looking of the shows because it doesn't look like green screen work. I mean, a lot of Falcon and Winter Soldier definitely had some set locations and stuff, and that looked really good and grounded and stuff.
Yeah.
But this one just like filming it in New York City.
Yep.
Okay, spoilers. We're just gonna do we're not gonna do like a complete rundown, but the beginning of the show basically starts in 2012. You meet Kate Bishop.
Yeah, as a kid.
And they show the scene from Avengers. She sees Hawkeye fighting all the Chitauri.
Yeah.
And then her place gets bombed, and I think her dad dies or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then they show her like evolve, like she becomes like I guess Hawkeye. Seeing Hawkeye do that, it's kind of interesting because it's like if you saw like the Hulk, if you were a little kid and you saw the Hulk, or you saw Thor,
right,
or Iron Man, you're not gonna be like, I'm gonna grow up and become the Hulk.
Right, you can't.
I mean, you could, but it's gonna be it's gonna be tougher. Like,
right, yeah,
gamma rays. You don't know how your body's gonna react to that shit, And you're cursed turning into a monster, man.
Right, yeah.
But you get smashed. but Hawkeye is just a dude with talent. Just a dude with talent. He's really good at shooting a bow. I think in the comics they kind of like said he was like a low level meta human.
I seem to remember that, but
yeah, like almost on par with Captain America. Not a mutant. I don't know. I feel like they just do that so like they could put him in more unrealistic situations. So you're like, hey, he's just some dude with a bow.
Right.
Like, no, he's sort of meta. It's like, what? I guess he can lift like heavier boxes and jump like an extra 6 inches more than people. Whatever. But I guess seeing that, it like inspired her to be a hero of some kind, and like obviously her house gets. I thought that was really awesome. The Steve Rogers musical was awesome. I remember when we saw the previews for that, and they showed the Rogers musical in the background. I said, "Oh man, I hope they do it." They do like a Dr. Zayas type thing.
They did like a half Hamilton. Of a song. Yeah.
They did like it was like Hamilton. I love the costumes, the way because there's always like this thing that happens in Broadway. They either overdo the fuck out of it.
Right.
Or they like
super underdo it.
Minimalize the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And this was more like minimalized.
Yeah.
Like the Hulk was some dude in a green hoodie with like his face paint green. I thought that was so fucking funny.
It was really fun. Yeah. I mean, I could see those being like Broadway costumes.
Somebody made a joke because like Ant-Man was there and he was like Ant-Man wasn't there, but like I watched like this thing called Screen Crush and it was like 64 things that were Easter eggs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they brought up a good point and said that Ant-Man and the Wasp were supposed to be in the Avengers movie. It got written out before they started filming. Because they were saving it for the Ant-Man movie that never came out from what's his face, the guy who did Hot Fuzz, Edgar Wright.
Oh yeah.
So they decided not to put him in it. So I guess, and then the other joke too is they said that there's probably a corporate sponsorship because the Ant-Man character was wearing like Hank Pym's the logo of like an enterprise or whatever. So it was probably a corporate sponsorship snuck into the play to pay for it. There's like lots of like really good. So there's only 2 episodes so far.
Yeah.
They're a little longer. I think there's only 6 episodes altogether.
I think you're right. Yeah. And they've set it up to be like, he's got to wrap this shit up in 5 days so he can get home for Christmas.
Right, because he tells his wife in the second episode, spoilers are spoiling shit out of this. He tells his wife, who I'm glad they brought her in, the woman who played Velma and Freaks and Geeks.
Linda Cardellini.
Yeah. he tells her like she's obviously aware. Like so the fucked up thing happened to Hawkeye was his entire family disappeared in the blip.
Yeah.
And it made him kind of go a little crazy, and he became the character Ronin, which he does become in the comics. Hawkeye in the movie is very different in a lot of ways from Hawkeye in the comics.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever read the Ultimate Marvel series.
I only read the series that is basically forms some of the basis of this.
You're talking about the Hawkeye series.
Yeah, I never
read that.
My Life as a Weapon. I think Matt Fraction did it, maybe. So
I never read that, but I'm just talking about Hawkeye in general. The Hawkeye that
I never did before.
Okay, the Hawkeye in Marvel Universe is kind of like a weird character. He started up like as a villain. He worked for like a carnival or something, and he was kind of like a bad guy. And then like the Swordsman is involved. I'm kind of glad they introduced the character of the Swordsman. You don't know he's a Swordsman yet, but it's Kate Bishop's like future father,
future stepdad.
That guy's awesome. I don't know if you ever watched Better Call Saul, but he's like the Salamanca, whatever.
Yeah.
In the last season. Yeah. That guy's awesome, and he's gonna be really good in this. And he is playing the Swordsman. So that is awesome to bring in that character because that is a major Hawkeye villain,
right?
And sometimes like ally, mostly a villain. I don't know. But this version of Hawkeye is more like the Ultimate Marvel Universe, where he was more like just like a soldier or like a special ops guy, and he did have a family, and he was like very just like American apple pie type character. It was like I don't know. It was weird. He never wears the costume,
right?
Like he has like that cowl that he never wears that in the. He has never worn it in the Marvel Universe movies. I wonder if they'll do something though that is kind of like in line with all the other Marvel shows, where like all the characters kind of end up in a way in their more traditional 60s style costumes. You saw that with WandaVision with the janky Halloween costumes that were more in line with how they looked in the comic series in the 60s. And then Loki, you saw that with Richard E. Grant's version of Loki, where he's wearing the more like Jack
traditional
costume. So it'd be awesome if now supposedly they do. I think I saw a thing. I don't want to ruin anything for you. I saw a hint to that in this series. I don't know. And then like, who's the guy who plays Hawkeye in the show?
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that guy isn't he like kind of problematic or something outside?
I don't know. That's a good
question.
He
had some issue. I think he went through like a bad divorce or something, and he was kind of like, I don't want to talk about that. Like supposedly he's kind of a shitbag or something. I don't know. Someone on Twitter made a joke and said they think it's funny that he was casted in Marvel like back in 2010 or something because he was like a hot actor for a minute. And then they were stuck with him.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, he's really not a he's not a huge actor, you know. I think
he was pretty big for a while. Like, you know what's crazy? You know what the first thing I ever saw him was like a made for Showtime movie where he played Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh, okay.
And it was a pretty fucked up movie.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like his last couple of days before he gets arrested or something.
That's right. Yeah. 2002 starred in Dahmer as the eponymous serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. He always kind of plays like a very serious look. He looks like a serious guy, but
he does.
What's great about sometimes those very serious looking people are really good in comedic situations.
Yeah.
The second episode when he goes to the LARPing thing was amazing.
I thought, it's funny you say that. I thought that's where we were going to see him in a throwback to his original costume.
Right.
I thought like, they'll give him some weird like archer costume, but that didn't happen.
So like, I guess somebody found the Ronin costume, and I love the guy's like, he's like, I'll give it to you, but you have to
right.
And he's like, you gotta let me beat you. And he's like, fine, zip me. He's like, no, it's gotta look like
he's like, I helped take down Thanos.
Yeah, I love though. He like what's great about this too is like, he kind of has like some PTSD from everything that he's been through. Because again, it's like he's just like he's not like a super soldier.
Nope.
He's just really good with a bow, unnaturally good. maybe it'll reveal that he is kind of a meta-human in some ways because he is just like way too good. And like, you know, he has like flashbacks. So it was in all the big Marvel events, and then like when he's watching the play and he sees the actress as Natasha,
yeah,
it's kind of really sad.
He sees a little girl really dressed like her.
Yeah, because it's like, in a way, like he was supposed to die, but you know, he didn't think his kids were going to come back or anything. His family was going to come back, and Natasha was the one who like sacrificed herself basically for the Soul Stone.
Right.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, there's a lot of. I hate the whole speculation thing, but there's speculation of like Kingpin showing up in this because the tracksuit mafia, those like Russian dudes,
right?
They work. I don't know. You said you read it. I guess they worked for the Kingpin.
I read that a while ago. The tracksuit mafia were the main antagonists of that, and I kind of flipped through. I have the trade paperback of that run. My Life is a Weapon is the first one, and I want to say the second one is L.A. Woman, and there's a third one, and in it, like Hawkeye, he didn't have a wife and kid, you know. I mean, he was
that's the thing. It's a very different character. He's just Hawkeye from the comic.
Hawkeye was the one who had Pizza Dog, and Pizza Dog did have a jacked up eye. It was because he was owned by these abusive members. Now, I didn't read it like thoroughly. Maybe Kingpin is in it. I don't know. I don't remember. But I could see Kingpin. Who's the guy who played him? Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Echo is that's the woman in the end of the season, episode 2.
Okay.
She's kind of like a villain / hero. She'll turn into a hero at some point. I think they even announced a Echo series. She was like in Daredevil, and she worked for the Kingpin. So if she's in this, and she's also with the Tracksuit Mafia, there's a really good chance that Kingpin might show up.
Well, the Tracksuit Mafia was great in the comic, and they did say the word bro constantly. I think they've kept a lot of like the aesthetic from that in there, which is kind of cool.
And then supposedly, I'm pretty sure because it was announced, and we'll say probably people forgot about it, but Pugh, whatever her name is, the Yelena Belova character from Florence Pugh, I think is her name.
Yeah.
Played Yelena Belova in Black Widow movie, the sister, who basically becomes the new Black Widow. She's supposedly in this because you saw Black Widow, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Elaine from Seinfeld showed up in the end at the cemetery?
Yeah.
And they're like, boom, boom, boom.
Yes, I do remember that specific scene. Yes.
Yeah, Newman showed up. Hello, Yelena. Hello, Yelena. Newman. Elaine, sorry, I forgot the name of her character. She's playing like some Hydra
Baroness or something.
Yeah. She basically tells like who's responsible for Natasha's death, but she's just setting her up to like go kill Martin. So I think she shows up for an episode in the show. Pete's dog's awesome. It's adorable.
He's great.
Golden Retrievers are an interesting dog. They're like, I used to be scared of them as a kid only because my friend had one and the dog severely bit him.
Oh.
But they had to go take him to the doctor. And Golden Retrievers are weird because they're usually like very like
they're usually real sweet. Yeah.
Kind of stupid. Like perfect like family dog.
Right.
Like real generic family dog. Like if you want just like a big silly dog, you get a Golden Retriever.
Yeah.
They always look happy. Like they're just happy looking dogs.
They're pretty chill.
Dog's awesome. I mean, I don't because it ate pizza. I guess I should call my dog shit eating dog because he goes into my cat's litter box and tries to eat its buddy's shit. So I guess my dog's shit dog.
That's a less affectionate name. But yeah, Pete.
Yeah, shit dog, defecation dog.
I remember in the original run, and I'm not saying anything like, revolutionary here or anything, but like there was an episode or a chapter in the trade paperback, but an issue where it was basically Pizza Dog, and the story was told like it was just like a really
if there's only 6 episodes, they're not a whole episode of Pizza Dogs.
No, they're not, and I hope they don't. But it was just like It's such a yes. There should be a scene where they kind of like go there, and it's not even going to work on film. I mean, because the whole thing was like it's a comic and you can tell the story in that way. It's just a really cool thing. But yeah, this series so far has been my favorite. I know I've just seen 2 episodes. Having it shot in New York is great. It feels real grounded. It feels
like Christmas time, so
it's so
perfect
good.
holiday show.
Yep. And they're airing it at the right time of year for it to be a Christmas type of series.
And I think they're doing a really good job. Like, maybe they'll delve more into the whole Ronin thing, why he became Ronin. Like the whole plot is like you see this like underground like auction house thing for like, and the Ronin costume comes up when they were like buying a Triceratops head or something. Yeah. I love when they tell them like this is for display only in your house. Right. You cannot like, you can't like put this in a museum or anything. I thought that was funny. They're like, this secret shit you're buying, but like the Ronin costume, because he went out and supposedly became like a #1 kill like of crimes, I guess, during the 5-year gap. Yeah. Between Infinity War and Endgame. He was like, he didn't have a family anymore. He was kind of like just went crazy or whatever. And I always found that to be kind of like a thing in Endgame that wasn't very good. It's like you see him in Japan, it's like a cool scene and he's Ronin. But then Natasha shows up and he's like, snap out of Clint. Yeah. Like, all right, fine. I'm over it.
I got that they needed to do some shit to show how things transpired over that time period, but I never understood the Ronin just because I wasn't familiar with the comic.
It was like in the comics, he becomes Ronin. Like, so in the comics, Hawkeye dies. He gets killed by Scarlet Witch. Okay. And he's gone from the comics for years. And then they finally bring him back. But when he comes back, they slowly bring him back. He's not really Hawkeye right away. And he's kind of like, he's not ready to like go back into being a hero or like that. So he adopts the moniker of Ronin. Okay. Which also the Echo character was Ronin as well. Huh. It's really complicated. So I feel like in the movies, they're like, yeah, it'd be cool if he just becomes Ronin. That's from the comics. The kids will, some of the people will know what that is. And maybe they'll explain it. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll explain. I feel like the fact that these episodes are a little longer, they're like an hour length show if it had commercials. So it'd be like, it's like they're 45 minutes. They're a little longer than the other Marvel shows, which tended to clock in at like 30, 33 minutes. I feel like it's almost better. Like they could flesh out the episodes a little more and do more stuff, which I feel like they're accomplishing that in this show. So maybe they'll go, and I'm sure they'll go into the whole Ronin thing. They'll probably do some flashbacks and stuff like that. How did he adopt that? Maybe there's another character who was Ronin and he took on that moniker. Maybe that's how Echo comes in, like they know each other. I don't know. Right. What do you think of we'll wrap that up so we can move on to the next thing. What do you think of what's her name? Steinfeld? Helen? What's her name?
Who are you talking?
The woman who plays Kate Bishop. The girl who plays Kate Bishop.
Oh, I don't know her name. What is her name? Let's see. Kate. It's weird. This is not. I love the character. Haley Steinfeld.
Newman.
I think. I don't know. I'll temper this by saying this. I loved the show. I loved the kind of witty banter between them. This is not the Kate Bishop I was expecting, to be honest. Like I didn't expect her to.
So in she comes from Young Avengers first. Young Avengers was like it spinned out of actually the whole. So there was this comic series called House of M where Wanda Maximoff goes nuts and gets rid of all the mutants, and there was like all this fallout of it where the Avengers were destroyed and everything like that. Because Wanda Maximoff went nuts. Yeah. And then new Avengers became, and this is a time period, around this time period, Hawkeye's considered dead or not back yet. Right. And the new Avengers come out and it involves like, I'm curious, they've already, in what they've done in these TV shows, they already introduced most of the main characters already. They introduced the brothers. Yep. Wanda's kids. They'll be back and they'll be aged up when you see them, they'll be like teenagers or something.
Yeah.
They introduced the grandson of the African American.
The Iron Patriot. The from Winter Soldier. I know
the grandson becomes Patriot.
Right.
If they're following that, I mean, they introduced him, that was his name, and now they're introducing her. And there's a variant of Kang that becomes Iron Lad, but I don't know if they're gonna do that.
Well, and Kid Loki.
There's a chance. Well, Kid Loki shows up in later on Young Avengers, but they said they'll probably bring that in, and then they're introducing more like Miss Marvel, which is a new show. She might be part of it. So they're kind of slowly setting up for like a Young Avengers type series, or but like Kate Bishop's kind of like a jerk in the Young Avengers. She's like a haughty rich girl, and like she's like really good with a bow. But in this one, she's kind of just like a Holly Golightly type character.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the right term to use. Like, she's not a prostitute or a good time girl.
No, but she does have that kind of like Audrey Hepburn type,
well, like carefree, but like a little airheadish, but like really talented. And
I like her. I mean,
that bell and that's kind of funny scene. I guess that's supposedly in the comics, that scene.
That's funny. I like the actress. I like the character. It's not exactly what I was expecting. And I guess if I did have a complaint, at every once in a while, it felt like I'd seen it before, like where she is like, what are you doing to like Hawkeye? Like, are you looking for people tailing us? And she's all like excited and giddy. And I've seen that young new hero meets their old hero,
their idol, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a shtick, I mean, like that. I think that was the name of the first episode, is like, don't meet your idols, or don't meet your heroes. But it was, I still loved
they
it.
never live up to because there's always a lot of factors involved. It could be you met them at the wrong time of the day, you met them in the wrong situation in their life. Maybe they could have been great if you met them a year later in different situations.
One of the things I do remember pretty clearly from the Hawkeye comic run, the Matt Fraction one, was that Hawkeye spent a lot of time recuperating. And I thought that was kind of cool.
Doesn't he get his ear punctured? He gets he's deaf in one ear.
He's deaf in one ear, but even there's like a couple scenes in this one where he's talking about like, how you heal from wounds, and like he goes to the drugstore and he's getting like witch hazel and stuff like that. Like to treat
in the show though, they imply that he's deaf in one ear because he has but I think it's from like being in Avengers Mansion when Thanos' ship like nuked Avengers Mansion.
They show like a series of scenes, like in quick montage
of what probably caused them to go deaf in an ear. Like, I mean, I think anyone would like think around like atomic bombs exploding. Yeah. So far, really good. Vera Farmiga, is that her name? Vera Parmesan, what's her name? Mom. She's great. She's been in a lot of movies. She was on that Bates Motel show. She was great. On that. She's just a good actress. So far, awesome
I love
show.
it.
I definitely going to rewatch it before the new episode airs next week. Whatever. I don't care. People call me a fucking Marvel stan, but you know what? I'm honest about things. Like Shang-Chi was okay, but to me, I hated the last half of the movie.
Yeah.
Eternals was good. It was slow in parts. This is amazing. This is really good. Like this, I mean, it's only 2 episodes in. It could totally start to suck after. Maybe. I don't think it's
not going to. No, look, it was so fun to watch. I watched both back to back. That's like an hour and a half of television. It felt like 10 minutes. I mean, it was really, really
good.
I
think the fact that it's only 6 episodes, every episode is going to be used in every episode is going to be important. Like, I remember when we talked about Loki and we said, like, how many episodes of Loki were there? Were there 6 only? Or were there 8?
I want to say there was just 6.
Maybe there was only 6. I don't know, but for some reason, I don't know if every episode is going to be 45 minutes long, but it felt like to me like a movie. Like
Loki was 6 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I just felt like these 2 episodes combined felt like a movie to me.
It really did. Like, they could have tweaked it a little bit and you would have had a great first entry into a trilogy of movies or something.
No, like, I think it's like a double-edged sword, these streaming shows on Disney Plus, especially with like Mandalorian. End of the day, it's going to hurt the cinematic universe because you're training your audience to view these characters in a different way. And the thing is, too, is that like the quality of the show, like, fine, you're not going to get like endgame effects or like an insane CGI battle like the end of Shang-Chi, which to me, honestly,
that
was the part I didn't care for. But you're not going to get that in these shows, but it's almost like, good. I'm glad you're not. But like the effects and the look of it, the quality of it, like, these things, like, this isn't like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was, as good as it was just a TV show. And even at its best, it still looked like a TV show.
It was,
These don't look like TV shows.
No, they don't.
Look like the movie. Like, the only one that looked like a TV show was because it was a TV show was WandaVision.
Yeah.
But then it turned into a movie, like in the last 2 episodes. You're like, oh.
No, but if you had told me this originally, if I'd bonked my head on something and I woke up and you said, hey, this is a movie now streaming, here it is, the Hawkeye movie, I would have been like, oh yeah, this looks like a movie. I wouldn't have even thought.
I don't know. I think it's the whole filming on location, filming it like it's a movie.
Music was good. It was cinematic music. So the whole thing was done like a movie.
Like, they could air this in the theater and I think people would go see it.
Yeah. And that's rare on TV. I don't think not since
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think like these shows, because I find even like Mandalorian, like you're not gonna get like fucking Last Jedi effects or whatever.
Only a few TV shows have really, like Cleopatra 2525, I think. Maybe came close. But like
Cleopatra 25 was peak entertainment. Yes. And it wasn't until Hawkeye came out that it was finally able to steal
a little bit of that
title away from
new benchmark.
Cleopatra 25. Remember that show?
Yes.
She's a stripper.
Cryogenically frozen.
Yep. And she wakes up in the future.
Yep.
But the best part was they played that song.
Yeah.
In the year 25. That's an amazing song.
It is.
That is like.
Who was that? Donovan? Did Donovan do that? Did Donovan do that originally?
Maybe. There's a Futurama episode where they do that. They use that song for one of the episodes. It's like really good.
That's good. Well, the other big series we watched was the reboot of Cowboy Bebop, the reimagining of Cowboy Bebop.
Did you finish it?
I finished it. Yeah.
I'll be honest and straightforward about my thoughts on this show. Is that like I don't really have that strong of attachment to the anime. Oh. I saw the anime like on Adult Swim or whatever the hell it was called. Sure. They have like a different name, I think, when they aired anime on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a different Toonami or something like that, and I watched it on there. I did not watch the original Japanese dialogue. I watched the dubbed American.
All right. Well, this conversation ends now.
Yeah. It's fine. It was good. I mean, I definitely noticed. I'm like, okay, this is different from a lot of other anime. There's like a style to it. There's like, it's trying to be something different. And yeah. I noticed it, and it's done well, and it's good. But like, man, the hate that this show is getting on Netflix to me is ridiculous. I'm like, this is a really good looking show. I know some people were like saying like how the show would look really good, but then it would turn to like a CW show. I was like, come on now. Like, some of these people I feel like are just want to hate on this shit. I'll tell you the difference between like Cowboy Bebop and a like, let's say seeing Spider-Man in the theater for the first time. Back at like Sam Raimi. So I feel like you can like this show or hate the show, and it would have no effect on the anime.
Yeah,
the anime lives on. It's not like, and it's crazy that they even did this because it's not like it's that mainstream. People like, if you ask people, hey, do you like Cowboy Bebop? They'd be like, what?
Yeah,
is that rockabilly?
Yeah, I don't think it's as well known as a lot of people who like it think it is.
But like, like the difference, like the way I used to get like annoyed if like a comic book sucked back in the day was because like comics in general is more niche, right? Yep. And it's a totally different medium. Now I know animation and film are not the same, but they are at least cinematic. They have voice, they have movement, they have scores, they have dialogue. They have, when I said voice, it's telling me. But like comics, you're just reading it. It's like considered low grade entertainment to some people. It's like whatever. It's not respected by a lot of people.
Sure.
So when you see a shitty adaptation of it, it sucks because you're like, they're never gonna make another movie of it.
Yeah.
Every time if you bring up like Steel, they're gonna think of the Shaq movie, the movie Steel that he made, and you're like, I remember that piece of crap. Like, I mean, I'm kidding about that, but I feel like it's a different story now after the MCU came out and everything like that. It's just become like something, but like. That I could see how people would be annoyed about like a show or a movie not living up to the series. But come on now, this thing is like amazing looking.
It's so good.
Like the actors do a great job. The look of it's really good. Yeah, listen, I get it. Not every scene is perfectly stylized, but like, was the anime perfectly stylized in every scene?
No, I mean, like, look, that anime, the Cowboy Bebop, the anime, is probably one of my top. Look, I'm not an anime connoisseur, but I like it. It's definitely a top 5 for me. It's probably a top 3.
I only like the one with in the Paul Gosar video.
I love Cowboy Bebop. I've seen it a whole bunch of times. I had it on VHS back in the day. I had it on DVD. I own it on Amazon Prime or whatever. I bought the series or whatever. So I really, really like the property, and that's not like a exaggeration. I loved this series. I thought it was really, really good. I thought the casting was spot on. I can't. The guy looks like Jet. Like it looks like looks like him, sounds like him. I mean, it's
the guy
uncanny.
from Harold and Kumar.
It's just crazy.
He played also what's his face? His character Sulu.
Oh no, are you talking about? I'm talking about you're talking about Spike Spiegel, aren't you? Spike Spiegel.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't see that's how bad I am. I don't even know.
Yeah.
What about the guy with the robot arm?
Yeah. I mean, it was just so.
That guy nails it.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember 100% like the show. Like I do remember the corgi. I remember a bunch of things about it, but like I do particularly remember that episode where what's his name again?
The Jet Black is the guy with the robot arm.
Yeah. Where you find out like he was a private investigator or a cop or something.
He was a cop
before he fell to this, and he kind of goes back into that life and meets like his old partner. I remember that is based on an episode from the series, right? They changed some things, but I do remember him getting in like the clothes and everything. Like, so like in this world, there's like, what is it? People live on like weird space platforms that look like they're terraformed planets, but they're not. Like they're in like a weird bases or something.
Basically, like the Earth was destroyed in a space travel accident. It shattered the moon and made the Earth kind of uninhabitable.
Thanks, Elon Musk.
Right. And so people live in the solar system that we're used to, with Mars and all that. And they just live on these terraformed planets or platforms or stuff like that. And the crime has gotten bad. And so they've turned a lot of law enforcement over to these bounty hunters. That's it in a nutshell.
So, I mean, I could see people comparing like, what's that show everyone that lasted one season?
Oh, Firefly. Yeah. It does have a real Firefly feel to it,
What somebody made a joke said the problem with Firefly was everybody was Han Solo.
Yeah. Well, I think like the parts of this that maybe Firefly stole from the original Cowboy Bebop are like, there aren't like tons of laser guns, that shit like that's kind of rare. Most people still use regular guns. Most people still drive, cars on planets and stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like people, like it looks like the suburbs in some sense.
Yeah. Because like, although tech has advanced, it's not like everyone has access to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like relatively unevenly distributed. There's probably plenty of people that are born on Mars and live on Mars and die on Mars, and they drive a car on Mars, and it's not like they're flying around in the spacecraft shooting lasers or anything. I mean, it's just
they're just living like they're just like what I was talking about before when we're talking about Thanksgiving. They're just living
a simple life, right?
Yeah, they don't have to be special. You don't have to be a big jet-setting space cowboy. In the Bebop world.
Yeah, but this like
chill and watch Bebop.
I think a lot of people are super willing to overlook the flaws of the original one, and they're super ready or quick to.
I think people are being too quick to criticize and to the fact is like the amount of money. My only fear is that the show won't come back is because Netflix is terrible. They put a ton of money into some of these projects.
Yeah,
they don't meet their standard, and then they don't renew it.
Yeah.
That happened already with Dark Crystal. It happened with Jupiter's Legacy. I swore there was like another show or two that were like that too.
Well, this one
got to be at least a season 2.
I think this would work as this could be a 1-season thing, and I'd be happy with it, like satisfied with it. It ends on kind of a cliffhanger, but
they all split up and do their thing, and that little girl, whatever, shows up. She's all weird.
Yeah.
People are complaining about that, but I'm like, that's literally how the anime is. And someone's like, well, maybe you should make it different. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Well, that was your problem.
Different, you'd be complaining and saying it wasn't her.
Yeah, that was it. It's like a lot of this is like, look, if you look at like Spike Spiegel or any of these characters in the original, they move different, they sit different. They're all kind of angular.
Cartoons.
Yeah, they're fucking cartoons.
Do you remember the complaining of the girl they got to be what's her name?
Faye Valentine.
Yeah. They were like, they lost their shit. This woman's pretty. They made it out to be like they casted a pig or something.
Oh my God,
this woman's like she's really attractive.
She's super pretty.
Yeah, and you're like making her out to be like the character is not a normal looking person. Yeah, I guess there's some people out there that look like that, but it's a fucking cartoon. You fucking dorks.
I thought she was great. I thought she really nailed the.
I guess the big change is there's a lesbian scene in this. Yeah, show. Spoilers. Sorry, we're spoiling the show.
I read more about that because you asked me that. You were like,
I don't remember her being a lesbian on the show.
And I don't either. And I looked at it, and a lot of people said that there was some subtext where you could kind of maybe read into it that she was.
She was eating tacos.
The whole point of the character is that she doesn't know who she is. Who the hell is she's a blank slate.
Her character is supposed to be someone who got cryogenically frozen in like her 20s.
Yeah,
and she's technically 78 or something like that, even though she looks like she's
25 or something, whatever.
25 or whatever. My favorite. Hey, listen, you know what? I'll date a 78-year-old.
Well, she looks like a young woman. She's
right. So she's kind of like out of time in a way. Like, and she's supposed to be only awake like 2 years or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And they show like a video of her when she was a kid. She finds a video.
Oh yeah.
I mean, again, it's like I just think like you can, if you like the anime and you think the anime is the only thing good and the TV show sucks, well then who cares? Because you know what?
Don't watch it.
Go watch the anime. Go watch the show. Because I just feel like it's a different story between cartoons or whatever being adapted to film as opposed to like a comic. I think a comic like back in the 90s and 80s, they would butcher these comics and they would make like these shitty movies. So you're like, but this isn't like that. No. This is well done.
Well, and the thing is, like, you will just never, especially like that anime itself, it relies on like such weird things, like eyes bugging out of a head or like exaggerated motions or whatever. You'll never get that on film. You can't.
Anime tricks the eye in that what it does is does a really good job of taking limited cells and creating movement under a lower budget. That's really what it is. You'll have characters like coming at you and it's the same fucking image, but they put speed lines behind it so you feel like there's motion. Guess what? You're really just watching a still image that's moving with the speed lines. And like There's things like that little tricks that they do, and they're not gonna be able to do that in the show.
Yeah.
Or they'll emulate it in some ways. I don't know. Like in the preview, they would show like lots of like walking into the next frame. Did they do? I don't remember them doing that a lot.
No. Yeah.
I think that was just for the preview.
The preview to me was like a different thing than the show. The show feels more like a standard TV show, you know, that they didn't use those little quirks that maybe are suggestive of anime.
The diner scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Using a coupon.
Yeah. There's a lot of great scenes in there, you know, and I liked the show, and I liked the changes they made for the show.
Like I said, I mean, listen, take my word, whatever you want. I'm not the biggest fan of the show. It's not like I don't consider it the sacred text of Bebop.
Yeah.
I could see why people like it, and I enjoyed what I saw, but like, so maybe I'm not good. Like, I just think like people who are big Bebop fans are like being way too overcritical, or people who claim. I think some people just want to shit on like.
That's the other thing is I wonder how many of these like diehard fans are really diehard fans. Like music is more my thing. Like I know a lot about like certain kinds of music, like popular music or whatever. And every once in a while I'll see like a video on TikTok of like a 21-year-old talking about like what a true REM fan looks like or whatever. And I'm like, you were not even like your parents may have listened to REM back, but you don't know what you're talking
really
about.
Interesting,
you know,
how, like growing up in the 80s for me, and like the music people listened to was like not even like 60s music yet, like doo-wop music, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like kids, they listen to the fucking same shit that we listen to, or I listen to. It's like, you know, it's like my son listens to all that music, and I didn't even really introduce him to like the music I grew up with. He kind of found it, but it's because it's like it's still relevant. It's still,
well, it's different now too, because like when we were kids, if we wanted to listen to music, we had to
find it.
You know, now kids they can select whatever they want.
The joke is like we watched MTV, but like MTV kind of dictated what we all liked in a way. It's like, I love when people talk about that too. It's like, yeah, the radio dictated what you like. You may claim you may like the music, and but like it was given to you. It wasn't, you know, there wasn't like you had a lot of choices. You know, it's like TV shows back in the day. It's like, well, like, oh, MASH had the most whatever views ever, but what else were fucking people watching back then? There was like two other things on TV at the time.
Well, I do wonder though if the people that are complaining about it were even huge Cowboy Bebop fans. A lot of it just seems like gatekeeping. Some of it seems like, I don't know, people getting pissed. A lot of people are like pissed off.
It's want to be edgelords. It's better be a contrarian. They read the room and they see it. People, it's easy to hate things. I'll be honest with you. I think going on like Twitter or something and saying I didn't really like the new Dune movie. I think that's more courageous on my fucking part, because I feel like that movie was getting ridiculous praise for people. And then there's just some people who just hate Star Wars so much they want to like just love something. And make it like their own or whatever. And I'm like, it was okay. It was a half a movie. Like, I don't care how good it was. It was a half a fucking movie. Like,
it was.
When the second movie comes out, the second half of the movie comes out, we can have this talk. But until then, it was a half a fucking movie. Well, I think, again, like, was this my favorite show? No, it really wasn't. I mean, I'll definitely watch season 2.
Yeah.
I really like the performances. Is the story really good? Story's okay. I guess, like, what are the big changes besides obviously the fact that it's people and not cartoons?
The biggest change is the central storyline of Spike and Vicious and Julia. That's the big one.
Yeah, what was the deal with him and Julia in the cartoon?
Well, in the cartoon, he's going after he was in love with Julia. And there's the same kind of triangle or whatever, but in the end, Vicious, Julia winds up dead, and Spike goes after Vicious, and kills Vicious, and then in the process gets himself killed. That's like the basic, and it's never really fleshed out super well. It's just that these episodes happen, and they're kind of episodes, and then in the background you have that Spike, Julia, Vicious thing going on.
But in this show, they changed it. There's a past. They were in like the
Yep.
what is it called? The Syndicate.
They were in the Syndicate together too in the cartoon, but Julia doesn't really do much in the cartoon. She's just kind of
they probably gave her more of a role, and in the end of the show, she becomes actually almost like the villain in the end of the show. Like she sees his power.
Yeah.
She has Vicious captured, and he's like in prison in the end.
Yep.
And I forgot what happens in the end. She does something to him.
They're in like that citadel, that church thing. And anyway, she winds up like basically thinking she killed Spike and imprisoned Vicious.
So they gave a woman power. I can't. Some people. I can see how some things in the show, people like some of those chuds be like, "Oh, the show went woke." It's like, shut up, dude. Oh, you mean they made changes to a show that's like 25 years old, and they want to update it a bit? It's not like
it is tough.
The sacred Bebop text.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, look, if you go back, and I have watched Cowboy Bebop.
Valentine's supposed to have D cups, and
a lot of Cowboy Bebop doesn't hold up super well. I mean, like, I don't know. I wonder how many of the people.
Saturday.
Yeah. Anyway, I loved it. I hope they make another one. I will watch it.
I hope so too. I'm almost nervous because usually Netflix is pretty quick to like say they announced the second season. I'm gonna look it up real quick since we're here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look up. Did Netflix? Let's say second season of Bebop. Let's see.
What do you got?
I'm looking it up. Let's see. Oh, geez. Hold on.
I don't think they have announced anything.
Cowboy Bebop audience need Netflix to announce season 2 ASAP. That was 1 day ago.
I saw that.
Netflix Cowboy Bebop showrunner dishes on movie villain tease for season 2. I mean, there's like no full announcement. My fear is it won't happen because I feel like, you can tell this was not a cheap show. This was an expensive show. See, the difference between this and like a Marvel movie and Marvel shows is that Marvel as a whole has been proven to be successful. And there's like a ton of different properties within Marvel that like, okay, let's say like Eternals didn't do that great. They don't make an Eternal sequel, but they'll bring some of those characters back into the Marvel universe in some way, some form. This is its own thing. It's on Netflix. Netflix has proven to be kind of unreliable in some points.
Yep.
And my fear is that they're not gonna renew it. And hopefully they do, because it was good. And I think it needs a second season.
I hope they do. And they could do a lot with this. I mean, each one of these characters could have a spin-off movie or series. I mean, they could do a lot if they chose to. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see the ratings.
You gotta like. That's the problem with Netflix. Is I feel like they do this thing. And they're like, yeah, we have like 1 million of content. We don't give a shit. Like, we'll just move on to the next thing. But you gotta like nurture shit too. You gotta like somebody brought up a good point. Said like, I think we talked about some shows. Said like Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Schitt's Creek was very successful on Netflix, but it's because I forgot the channel, like Pop or whatever it was.
Yep, it was on Pop originally.
Originally aired it. And I think it was even like, what's his name? Eugene Levy's son or something might even said that like if it originally aired on Netflix, the show would never even made it. Like it would have gotten like maybe 2 seasons at most. And you know what I mean? Like Netflix worries at canceling shit. So we'll see. Like I said, I liked it. You liked it. I think some people need to lighten up about it. I mean, listen, I'm not invalidating some people's opinions, but I just think that like watching it and seeing people are just being incredibly overcritical to it. Like, and again, if you think it looks cheesy or looks corny, well, you know what? Sometimes some things don't translate really well to, like I said, I just love that one critique of that weird, what is that character? The little redheaded girl who's like all crazy and weird.
Yeah.
That's how she is in the cartoon, right?
Yeah, I think that's why she is featured a lot more heavily in the cartoon. She's like a member of the crew. You know, there's 4 of them
Maybe
on
in the
that
second
ship.
season she'll show up more.
Well, it's like I think that they wisely chose not to feature her because she would amplify that weirdness. Like that character is supposed to be kind of like a spazzy, you know, cartoonish character. That wouldn't translate real well in the live action show. You know, so we'll see.
We'll see what happens. All right. Well, let's move on to other wacky cartoon characters.
Yeah, like, that lovable little animated scamp, Kyle Rittenhouse.
That lovable puglet, Hoglet. Yeah. All right. So on to non-entertainment.
Yep.
Even though it's impossible to tell what's entertainment, what's reality and fiction anymore. So Kyle Rittenhouse trial, we talked about it.
Yeah.
Past weeks. And long and behold, we knew exactly what was going to happen. The story, the ending was given to us like months ago.
Yes.
He got off on all 5 charges.
Yeah,
not guilty in all 5. And I just find that absolutely insane.
It's baffling. I mean, like, I kind of started to say this before we started recording. Let's just say that this is technically true. That he didn't break any laws. Then what the fuck kind of state is Wisconsin running where this is okay? Where I can go, like, and again, I'm not going to do this, but like where someone could show up to a MAGA rally, start shit with people, feel threatened by those people, and then just start putting holes in them. Like, is that I guess is how it works, right? In Wisconsin, like you can.
The problem with the whole, I guess so. Even though, and this kid's not even from Wisconsin,
right? Like, yeah, like I could drive up there with a gun I'm not supposed to have, and start waving my gun around at a MAGA rally and talking about, you know, how Trump sucks and they're all idiots. And then the first time someone comes at me with a threatening gesture, I can kill them. I mean, is that how that works? That seems like how it works.
Here's a couple of things. The judge, before, this is why we knew all this was garbage and that he was going to get off. The judge basically said that Kyle Rittenhouse was recorded weeks before Kenosha shooting, saying he wished he had my fucking AR to shoot at people leaving CVS. They said Kyle Rittenhouse's judge said this wasn't relevant to the case. How is that not relevant to the case? Anytime there's a mass shooting of any kind, the first thing they do is they fucking scour their freaking social media.
Yeah.
And they find like the Parkland kid, the kid who shot people in Parkland, all these people, they always you see what they watched. You see that they were like big fans of Ben Shapiro. You see all these things. And this piece of shit judge said, which any investigator, anyone would say to make someone, even if it was obviously it was caught on film, they would still use that against them too of, hey, this person fucking liked, fucking used to read like Day of the Rope or whatever shit.
Right.
Like real like, and like watch Breitbart all the time. I mean, like that would definitely be brought up. How is that not relevant? He said, I'm going to shoot people when they are 15, and then he got to do exactly that.
Yeah.
Well, when I said that, it was hyperbole.
It is bananas. The judge was awful in every
the judge threw a monkey wrench in the whole thing. The judge basically crippled the prosecution by not allowing the ones to say the people shot by Rittenhouse were victims, but that's exactly what they were. They were victims. The last guy got shot in the arm, you can maybe put an argument say he wasn't a victim, right? There is a chance you could say that because he had a gun too. Fine, but guess what? Is that guy not allowed to defend himself? Is he not allowed to defend himself? So you basically created a situation where you said Kyle Rittenhouse is a deputy. They deputized him and said that he was allowed to go there and shoot people. And then the right wing made this stories and saying that the 2 people that were killed were these horrible people, and one guy was a pedophile. The other guy, all these horrible things they would say about him. And you're like, okay, so you're saying now that Rittenhouse targeted these people.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then that's not manslaughter or any type of charge. that's just straight up murder because that's premeditated. He knew, but he didn't know who these people were. He just shot them.
It is maddening and crazy. I mean, like with the judge being the way the judge was, I mean, no one should have been surprised when he was acquitted, because the jury, I almost hesitate to blame the jury because they were penned in by some pretty weird instructions, and I don't know.
The judge basically, if the case didn't go the way he wanted anyway, the judge was probably going to allow a mistrial of prejudice.
Right.
Kyle Rittenhouse would have pretty much gotten off anyway. I said James Field Jr. is jealous of Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
James Field Jr. is the Nazi piece of shit that drove his car at the Charlottesville and smashed into people, killed I think woman's name was Heather Hayes.
It's Heather something, yeah.
And he injured a whole bunch of other people. That guy's in prison for life.
Yeah.
He wishes he was Kyle Rittenhouse. Probably like, what the fuck?
Right.
I mean, like, Kyle Rittenhouse could face federal charges. Yeah, he better. He better. What the fuck, man? You can't let this little monster go. Like,
it's just galling because, like, the lesson here is that this is how you do shit. You know, now you have that like asshole JD Vance talking about how we need to raise more kids like Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, the right wing is just like really
deranged. They lost their fucking mind. All these these chud congressmen, like the really most ridiculous of the GOP, Lauren Boebert, Madison Cawthorn, Gosar, Matt Gaetz. These are all despicable people. They're like tripping over each other to fucking get this kid as an intern. I know they're full of shit, but like,
it's just really bizarre.
You're gonna have this kid as an intern? Get the fuck out. Kyle Rittenhouse, the Onion had the best headline. Kyle Rittenhouse sentenced to 45 years of CPAC appearances.
Yeah, right. Well, he will be. I mean, this is like his career now. This is probably the best thing that ever happened to him.
Oh yeah, I mean, what was it like? His dad, the mom and dad were divorced. The mom, living in like welfare, I think.
Yeah,
like it's just like a barely getting by kid. Now this kid's gonna be set for life.
It's crazy.
Let's see. I said when Rittenhouse was found guilty, he started to cry. That one was a real cry, not like his fake ass tears during the trial. Like when he found out he was not guilty, he started to cry. You could tell.
Oh, I'll bet you
legit cry, not that whatever the fuck that was. I said victims were not at fault. Rittenhouse murdered these people at the tail end of one of the worst cop riots in modern age. I guess there's some people saying like, oh, you know, this is almost like a lesson, like not go near these people at protests. If you see someone with a gun or anything like that, just don't go near them. Yeah. But like this was unique in that this happened in the nightmare hell of 2020. This was tail end of the summer. It was literally the end of the summer. You had the George Floyd protests that started like in June and went all the way to the summer, where cops were just beating the shit out of people left and right, shooting gas cans at people, fucking rubber bullets that were like, people lost eyes from that. Reporters lost eyes. Like they were just arresting people left and right, beating the shit out of people. It was absolutely awful. And then towards the end of the summer in Wisconsin, there was a guy shot, which never got brought up. The whole thing. I forgot his name, Blake or something.
That sounds right.
Shot in the back 7 times by a cop. And all the protests were from that. So you already had this hot summer. You had all this going on. And you're attending this protest, right? You've probably been beaten the shit out a bunch of times. Maybe you've been arrested or whatever. And here comes this fucking little shit with a bunch of other little fucking shits and a whole bunch of little fascist pigmen with their AR-15s threatening you. You're just like, I'm done with this. I'm not going to put up with this shit. The fucking guy who attacked Kyle Rittenhouse with a skateboard is brave as fuck. I would say he's dumb too. He's brave as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, this kid's a piece of shit. I don't blame anyone for being like, what the fuck? This kid is a state-sanctioned domestic terrorist.
Oh, yeah.
And he got away with it. So I was like, no, these victims were not at fault. They were killed by Kyle Rittenhouse. I wrote, shocked at the trial where the judge said the victims couldn't be labeled as victims during the entire trial, provided their killer not guilty charge. Words matter, and the judge knew that.
Yeah.
I mean, like the fact if the prosecution was allowed to label the victims as victims, like as if they were, the jury would have had a totally different.
Yeah.
What?
No, I agree. I think so. I think like the real, not that this was a lesson that needed to be learned, but it's like this is just such a clear example of how the system is the problem. You know, the system kind of enabled this to happen. You had cops slapping these vigilantes on the back, you know, and providing them water and, you know, that kind of shit. Yeah, the cops inviting these people in and kind of siding with them. I mean, this is shit straight out of like Civil War era stuff, you know, where the cops,
like, you don't really have law enforcement at all. You just have like a gang full of bullies.
And then they gets thrown into the court, and the courts like work it so that they engineer the outcome, and the laws are like weird, like you can like shoot people to protect your it's just like such a fucked up thing.
It's like the victims were white, right? They were killed by a white person, but it's like, yeah, it's like, what are you trying to do? You're trying to make it that white people won't go out and protest in the name of like helping other minorities out and achieve, like, that's exactly what that is, though.
But it's not even like the I mean, it's such a weird thing. Like, it's not even like Kyle Rittenhouse was defending someone's property, you know, like if Kyle Rittenhouse were holed up in a Circle K and some guy was throwing a trash can through the window and coming in to steal a box of ho-hos or whatever,
that's totally different.
I could, you right, but that's not what happened. Is Kyle Rittenhouse is on the street patrolling, looking for people to shoot.
Yeah, with like, other chuds, with other fellow chuds, they were there to like start shit. He wasn't there. Like, the prosecution tried to bring it up as best as they could. Like, you're not an EMT. Why would it? And if you were, why would you bring an AR-15 with you?
Yeah,
he was not there to help people. He was there to agitate and start shit. The fact that he's quoted saying, "I wish I had my AR so I could shoot people," and the judge throws that out, this is a kangaroo court. It's any other trial, people would be like, this is insane.
Well, and it's not like, no one would be surprised that if like there's a MAGA rally down the block from someone, that if you had a bunch of like Black Lives Matter people patrolling the streets with assault rifles, I'll bet you the cops would roll up and stop them or question them or detain them. Or I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's disappointing.
They would never. Yeah, it's like we know exactly what the outcome would be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is that
and an argument of, again, it's like he had no right to be there. It's like, okay, if he had every right to be there, so did the protesters. They all like, but he had no right to have a gun because it was not legal for him to have that gun.
Well, I'm curious to see. I know we talked a little bit last time about them maybe looking at federal charges. I know that there's been some talk about the federal, this getting referred to the DOJ.
Isn't there already a civil suit already going into effect?
I would imagine that the people who were killed would be suing this chud. I mean, like, there's, I don't know where it all stands. I know I have no faith in Merrick Garland's DOJ to prosecute this. You know, I don't know what that guy's doing, but like, I don't love much of what he's doing. You know,
he's proven to be pretty disappointing. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I feel like something has to be done, because it's like you get this little pompous shit, and they're talking about like how they're demanding Joe Biden apologize. Kyle Rittenhouse, like, what the fuck out of here? I think Jen Psaki actually said something where that piece of shit from Fox asked her, and she basically called out domestic terrorism and fear, and like, we don't, you know, she just like called out. She basically said Kyle was a murderer. She didn't say it outright, but she's like, yeah, he's like, we don't support domestic terrorists.
Well, at the same time, there's this other case, the big famous case down in Georgia, where the Aubery verdict, and I'm
and these
drawing
cases should not even be. There should be nothing in common with them, but unfortunately, there is something in common with them.
Well, the weird one with this is, and I had forgotten about this until today when I read it on Twitter and was reminded of it, is that the local cops they weren't going to investigate this at all.
It took 74 days. So 3 guys, basically, well, 2 of them and a guy videotaping it or driving.
I think, yeah.
But he's guilty too. Basically, they lynched a black guy. They claimed that he was a criminal. He was just jogging. And they claimed, I guess he may have stopped and looked at like a house that was being built or something.
Yeah, we talked about this before on our show.
It's like we do that all the time. People like stop and look at things all the time.
I haven't done that lately, but I remember that was super
I think it'll
common.
be okay though.
Yeah, right. I think I'd be fine. But it was super common to do that. You know, to like the homes getting built, you're going to go look at the homes and stuff. I mean, that's not crazy, and it's also not a capital offense to put it mildly. But those 3 guys got found guilty. They're probably going to spend their lives in jail or in prison.
But and I think that, and the woman that I guess I forgot what her deal was, but she's going to jail too. The person who hit it. There's this woman that hit, because it took 74 days for these people to get arrested. People knew it happened, and it only because it leaked on social media. So this guy was, when we all saw that, he was already dead like 3 months.
Right.
And then these fucking animals finally got arrested, and and it took forever to arrest that one guy. They arrested the father and son first, and then they arrested that weird guy. They were trying to claim he was like mentally challenged, but it's just his hairstyle that was, I guess. But but again, it's like is there justice? I hope these people go to jail, but that doesn't erase the fact that it only happened because this got on social media.
Yeah.
And this is where the right wing hates social media so much.
It's a super look, you see that on TikTok all the time. I don't know how many of them are like 100% legit and how many are kind of staged or whatever, but like you often see on TikTok, guy getting pulled over, pops the phone on his dashboard, and the cop says roll down the window, and the kid's like, well, just to let you know, I'm recording this. What do you need? My license? And then the traffic stop goes pretty smoothly after that, you know. But yeah, the right hates these things. They hate body cams, you know.
Yeah, you see a lot of like where cops will basically lift the hood of their car to block the camera.
Yep.
It means they're up to no good. Trump during his presidency told them to do that. He said, hey, rough them up if you have to. And they all laughed, and he was dead serious. And, you know, he said he had the cops on his side, the bikers on his side. He had all the thugs on his side, and he was happy as a clam to say it. I'm glad, again, that these monsters were arrested, and I hope they go to jail for life. Fuck them. Let them rot. I hope they rot in prison. But again, it doesn't ignore the fact that it only happened because the footage got out.
Yeah.
Which is super fucked up. I'm glad, but the Rittenhouse thing is so disgusting. Like, right after he got away with it, then like Tucker Carlson announced that he was going to be a guest on his show.
It's the mom is like doing her tour, her grift tour. It's tough. It's tough to take. The family's awful, and it's tough to take.
Did you see the image of him sleeping? Like, oh, he finally gets to sleep now.
Oh, Lord.
Oh yeah, that was like in the promo, Tucker's thing, where they show Kyle Rittenhouse like now he gets to sleep, finally gets to rest. He, you know, his life's been in disarray for a year, and now with the finally proven innocent, like he really was, you know, quote unquote. Now he gets to rest. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Well, like, you're just like rotting your audience's brain to the point where it's ridiculous. I am like, he was on like Tucker Carlson, and again, he's acting like he's everyone like he's the victim. He's the victim. Not the people he killed.
Well,
he said he claimed he supports the BLM movement. Well, fuck out of here.
The one thing I will say, and this isn't in defense of Rittenhouse or anything, but like he's a kid and he was raised by his parents, you know, and his parents, I don't know, you just look at them and you kind of like, and I've said this a couple times when we've talked about him before, I can see how he didn't grow up with much of a chance. There's like photographs of him as a toddler with a rifle and shit. I mean, like they built him that way. That he in my opinion, was still guilty, and in my opinion, he should still be responsible for his actions.
He won't face any reform. Like he won't face any. He won't ever have to go through any like, prison. Nothing. He's just gonna get worse.
So yeah, I mean, like unless the feds go after him, the one thing I will say is that like sometimes like no one thinks like George Zimmerman's living a great life,
Yeah, I just feel like this is so different from the George Zimmerman thing. I think this is like
I do too, but like, look, I don't think
like you don't get this without the George Zimmerman thing first. I feel like people now are like there's like so much insane shit has happened since that the people that support Rittenhouse's brains were probably not 100% there yet when the George Zimmerman thing goes on. And George Zimmerman proven to be a piece of shit even after. This is a kid. They're gonna have publicists for this kid.
Well, that's the thing, is if he's coachable, if he's coachable and willing to put in the time, yeah, he'll probably get wealthy and have a nice life out of it. But like, this is also a kid who was like at a bar with a bunch of white power dudes.
I think he's gonna end up fucking spiraling out of control.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna be like.
That's what I'm saying.
They interviewed like the Nicholas Sandman, that little fucking shit who was smirking at the Native American. Him and Kyle live very different lives. This is like a privileged kid from Kentucky, like big donor family in the Republican Party,
big Catholic school.
Yeah, like his life was already created for him. He's just a rich piece of shit. And he didn't kill people.
Right. He just
that's the big difference. He didn't kill people. He just
agree. I think Nick Sandman will probably, if he wanted to, he could go on a speaking tour and do just fine for himself. I think Kyle Rittenhouse, I mean, like you see the mom and dad there. I mean, like he can't keep his shit together for a whole day, Like if he had cameras around
him, they'll drop the ball in a couple of weeks. You'll see him with the Proud Boys or some shit.
Yeah,
they'll fuck up, but we'll see. I mean, it's only been a couple of days, and it's only been a couple of days. We'll see what happens. I do hope that there's a huge civil suit. I hope that. I mean, and again, it's like it's not even about this kid anymore. It's just like there's a precedent.
There's a lot here. One of the things is it's a precedent. One of the things that's legitimately just, in my opinion, a miscarriage of justice. But then you have like the gloating and the cheering from the absolute worst people on the planet.
I agree that the worst people are happy today.
Yeah, that's like when you see Boebert, Gozar, Gates, and Marjorie, when you see all of them celebrating like they're all happy and shit, it just puts you in a bad mood because they're
people were murdered.
Yeah.
Oh well, to top this off before we move on to the next thing, the Grand Poobah, the King Chud, the Emperor Chud of all Chuds, Donald Trump met up with Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah,
Kyle Rittenhouse and his mom got to go and meet the true president. Right?
Yes.
The rightfully elected president.
Good Lord.
Yeah, there's a picture of them. I posted a picture. It said when stochastic meets domestic.
Yeah, it's just an awful photograph.
It is a horrible photograph. And again, it's like, why are they meeting Trump? It's like I said, like what? It's like when Matt Gaetz says, I want him to be an intern.
Right.
How do you know he's a Republican?
Yeah. What makes you think that, Matt? Like the only position he's made public is that he likes shooting people. He likes
specific people,
right,
specific targets, BLM people, Antifa or whatever he would label as.
It's
fucking gross. It is definitely like, I thought that was like the grossest thing. Again, the Aubery thing, I'm glad there's some justice, but again, we cannot ever allow the fact that it took 74 days for those fucking people to get arrested. They would have totally gotten away with it. I feel like there was another case like that not too long ago. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously even like the George Floyd thing, like Sean, the only reason why he got arrested is because it was film.
Right. Look, if the best lesson any marginalized person could learn is that you should get a good working cell phone with a camera,
or just keep it on 24/7 on you.
No, but when you see the lights in your rearview mirror, you should prop it up and start filming, live broadcasting, do it live so they can't grab your phone. And that's 100% what I would do, not without a doubt in my mind. Even if I were guilty, I'd be like, yeah, I did what you're accusing me of. I'm going to walk out of here, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's just, all right. Well, on to more fun things.
Yeah. Well, you had brought this up the other day. We're talking about Biden's approval rating.
Yeah. I mean, they're claiming it's really low. And I'm like, why? I mean, listen, is he great? No. I feel like he allowed two shitty senators to like fucking just sabotage his Build Back Better initiative. I feel like, his desire to like have this BS bipartisan bullshit, like all that stuff, it's just tiring. It's old. No pun intended to him. But I could see why people, but I'm like, are you serious? How could it be that low? The guy's still lightning times better than the last president.
Yeah. Well,
we have an infrastructure bill. Nothing was done under Trump. Absolutely nothing happened under Trump. The only thing the Trump administration did was they put in a bunch of really cruel initiatives right from the get-go. A tax cut, a insane tax cut for the rich, and just shoved in a bunch of Judge Schroeder's into the courts.
Yeah.
That's it.
My theory is all the ones that I've seen, the legitimate ones, not like Rasmussen or whatever that have them at 5%. The ones say that Biden's about 40%, and I think that what that means is like a third of the country to 40%. They're never going to like a Democrat, so that's your ceiling is 60%, and I think that there's probably some progressives that are pretty not thrilled with him. They'd vote for him again, they'd vote for him over a Republican, but
hell yeah, especially the modern day Republican Party, the Republican Party that roots on Kyle Rittenhouse. Yeah, I'm sorry.
If you asked,
psychotic.
If you asked me, are you happy with Biden's performance on an average day? I mean, some days I'd say yes, and some days I'd say no. But I'd always say relative to Trump, I give him an A+. Relative to any Republican, I give him an A+. I also think it's weird, like it's a weird time. I think people in general are just pissed off.
People are anxious. It's like COVID's still here, but like people that hate him, Biden the most, refuse to wear masks or get vaccinated. So they kind of add to that problem. I guess they're also just love the chant, "Let's go, Brandon."
Well, like if you are even peripherally aware of politics, you're aware that we had a president named Trump who did a bunch of shit. And I think that people should have opinions about that. And a chunk of people think Trump was secretly elected and got dicked out of the presidency. And a greater majority feel like Biden won But like nothing happened to Trump. He did all these terrible things for 4 years.
He's taking pictures with another guy who got off.
Nothing happened to him.
All the horrible stuff happened under Trump, and then you also had the January 6th thing, which he was responsible for. He is responsible for January 6th. He knew it was going to happen. You know what they said? A real good indicator of how you know he's connected to January 6th was that he wasn't taken away from the scene.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
If it was a real threat, they would have like had him in a bunker and hit him away.
I get
that was because he was never at threat.
Right. And the intellectual or the intellect of me knows that if a pollster says, are you happy with Biden or not happy with Biden? I'm going to say I'm happy with Biden because I know like intellectually that's, you want that. It's good for the, because that's helpful, you know? But honestly, like every day Trump is out there with zero consequences. I'm not thrilled with that, you know?
No, like
I'm
I
not
said,
at all.
that picture of him with Rittenhouse stings because it's like you see a guy who just got away with murder, and then you see another guy who pretty much got away with murder as well. And they're both laughing. They're smiling. They're pigs. They're hogs. And they're laughing at you. And they're getting away with it. And this fucker plans on running again.
I
in
think
some capacity.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think there's a lot of Democrats, and honestly, I think there's a lot of independents that are looking to Biden, and they do want infrastructure week, and they do want climate change addressed. They want all this shit, but they're also like, what are you going to do about Trump? What are you going to do about this?
I feel like I don't know if a lot of people give a shit. I think they moved on to other things, but I think that it should have been done right away. If it's not done right away, what happens is it looks like, oh, why are you going after this? You're being a sore winner now or something, you know? And it's like, no, like this motherfucker should not be ever allowed to run for office again. He shouldn't be allowed to live in the country. Like he should have to live like in like some escaped dictator in another country, you know?
Right.
Like to avoid charges. This motherfucker shouldn't be allowed to like, did you see that thing where he went to like, no, not Serbia. I don't know. He went to like some country and like met a leader, and it was really bizarre.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was like some shadow presidency. Yeah, like Trump, Kosovo or something. Like,
oh, yeah.
Let me see if I find it. It was like connected to Russia in some way. It was like recently, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is so weird.
Yeah, I mean they need to address that. Like, so. Why is Biden's approval rating so low? I mean, I think
other things is there's a lot of propaganda about supply chain issues.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of propaganda about people not wanting to work and all this stuff. But I think they just, and gas prices went up a bit over time. But it's like why were gas prices so low under Trump in the last year? Because no one was leaving the house and demand goes down. So gas prices go down.
Plus, I mean, gas prices always go up during the holiday season. That's like,
Biden did something recently. I guess he
tapped the strategic reserves.
Yeah, which will lower the price. I started noticing the prices go down a bit. And then I think, what was it? The boats and the ports, which that fucking judge from Schroeder, like, and they try to blame that all on Biden, but I guess the Biden administration like basically threatened with a tax, like $100 a day for every freight that's on these boats. And all of a sudden they said once that happened, these companies started moving the boats.
Right.
They're trying to create false demand. These companies, they're trying to create a false need, that is a big part of capitalism, is to create scarcity.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something that's too easy to get, and we're all guilty of it, they're like, I'll get it next time, it's always here. Guess what? What happens when it's not there?
Right.
And you're like, I need my Little Debbie snack cakes. And they're not here. And now all of a sudden I really want it, you know? Like I have a craving now. It's like the Popeye's chicken sandwich. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It was a scarcity. And a guy showed up with a gun. This was pre-pandemic, simpler times. Guy showed up with a gun, threatened the employee at Popeye's chicken to give him the sandwich, and they were like, "We can't." We don't have the bread for it. You
Sir,
know,
this
it was
is a
like,
Subway.
what?
Sir, this is a Subway.
Yes, sir, this is a mental institution. It is time for your lobotomy.
This is a quickie lube.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be some changes. I also feel like the media is guilty of this. They really want like drama. They really want like this is like I hate that term, no drama president, but he kind of is. He's not tweeting and like did you see Kristen Stewart and like, that's the kind of shit Trump would tweet about. He's like this president getting into fights with Alec Baldwin. It's like, dude,
just crazy.
You're the president. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fighting with like
Hollywood celebrities,
fucking people. Like that is weird.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I wonder if it'll start to creep back up over the holiday season if things go well. We'll see. The approval rating is always like a weird thing. You know, I mean, it is
very subjective and it's insidious because they'll ask you a question about something and like you said, you may criticize it, right? But you're like, but I'm still going to vote for him. But they don't take that part. They like,
I mean, I have plenty of qualms. Overall, I like Joe Biden a lot. I think he's doing a good job. I have some qualms with some things. If you caught me on a certain day, I'd say I'm unhappy. But that's irregardless. You know, I mean, I'm going to vote for him again.
And I'm sorry, but like, I look at the other side and they're psychopaths. And I know that like, people will be like, oh, it shouldn't be like that. I'm like, yeah, it shouldn't be like that. But guess what?
But it is.
It is exactly like that. It is unfortunate that it is like that.
Right. Yeah.
This is where we are. And you know what? Letting psychopaths like that isn't going to lead to the great revolution.
No.
What it's going to allow is more Rittenhouses storming the streets, deputized chuds that are not law enforcement but have a blind eye to everything they do, just terrorizing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
Good times.
Are you thankful for that, Joseph?
Yes.
You thankful for that, Joseph?
Well, we have like two short little. Actually, the rest of these are pretty odds and ends. The next one we were going to talk about is the new round of subpoenas that went out. I don't have a ton of things.
It was mostly like Roger Stone and Alex Jones. And they're both characters. So, and they're just assholes. They're like border like weird entertainers / propagandists / political hack jobs. Alex Jones is a fucking piece of shit, and Richard Linklater should remove him from all his movies. Supposedly, like Alex Jones, I know Alex Jones shows up in like, I don't know if it's Scanner Darkly or the other one.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's in that, and I think he's in another. Yeah, because like Linklater's from Texas. And Jones is from Texas also. And like Alex Jones has always had like a history of like there was a video someone posted of him from years ago where he looked normal. I mean, he's younger and everything. But he also like is just such a different person. I mean, like I just remember him in like the early 2000s, and he would talk about like, you know, how 9/11 was an inside job and everything like that, and you know, there's some weird shit in there. But like, man, once like the whole Sandy Hook thing happened, that's when he just took it like.
Well, that's just so ghoulish. Like,
that's when there was like, okay, this guy's a straight up piece of shit. Like, and then it was just a hell from there. He was a big Trump supporter, and he was like putting up rallies, going to like Arizona.
Yeah,
he went to that, and he was at the January 6th thing. He's trying to claim that he was trying to prevent bullshit. He was totally for it 100%, the January 6th thing.
Well,
he was there. The guy should be arrested.
I don't mind this congressional inquiry or whatever select committee, but I 100% think at some point they just need to, and they should have done it already, a special prosecutor. You know, get a special prosecutor. That amplifies it considerably.
What would that do exactly? I'm sorry.
The big thing would be that if once you set a special prosecutor, it stays. So if the Republicans take over Congress, the special prosecutor is still doing his or her job. Like it removes it from that political element, and it becomes a special prosecutor from like the Department of Justice or something who is, no, I'm looking into this. And then that's a big deal. And theoretically, it should be, even if like the administration changes. Like one of the things Trump did is he put a special prosecutor against the people, the Russiagate people, right before he left office. That's going on now. You know, it's like a little Trump time bomb ticking away. So I don't know.
What is that going to do?
I don't think anything, because like all of that stuff seems pretty legit. You know, I mean,
yeah, I mean, like, I hate that whole like, oh, like people who say he has no connections to Russia is gaslighting you. He's
you'll be kidding me.
Like, get the fuck out of here. It's like it's never been more obvious. What the fuck is like? Yeah. Fuck you. Like that is fucking definitely a definition of gaslighting right there.
Well, I'm all down for these subpoenas. I don't think anything's going to come of them.
Yeah, but there's no reason why Alex Jones should be able to get away with not attending.
Well, he said, I saw a clip of him on Twitter.
He's going to plead the fifth, right?
Yeah, he just said he's going to plead the fifth. That's probably a pretty good strategy. He should go do that. You know, if you're
go there, do it. What happens if he does it? It's over. He just walks in, and goes, "I plead the fifth," and that's over. They can't.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like for him, but it's like. But then, yes, from a legal standpoint, that is it. That's how Rick Scott got off. You know, he just pled the fifth 75 times in a row. But then you bring in other people. You know what I mean? Like then you go after other witnesses and stuff like that. I still think you do it. You know, make.
I think the whole plead the fifth thing is like, to me, the worst thing that's ever been put in law, because it's like the worst people seem to be the ones that get away with that.
But you got to be able to plead the fifth. Otherwise, it's like then you get like.
Well, I understand, but it just seems like the most obviously guilty people are the ones that get to plead the fifth.
It's true.
It's like.
Well, again, like, and we said this last week, like in theory, if I like, and this is like an old thing you learn in high school or whatever, our legal system is kind of built so that under the idea that it's better to let 99 innocent people go free than it is to imprison one innocent person, you know?
Right.
And I think like, I like that, you know, I wish it were evenly applied to everyone. So, but that's how it's built. That's how it's supposed to be built.
Yeah. I don't know. Alex Jones is just awful. The fact that there's people that let him go on their shows and stuff like that, those people suck. If you're letting Alex Jones on your program, you're a ghoul.
Yeah.
Unless you're like kicking him in the nuts or like making fun of him or calling him a piece of shit, you're a ghoul. Like if you think he's just a funny little meme man and you're laughing, you're a piece of shit. Yeah. I'm sorry. You just are. He's a piece of shit. Like he's not the guy, like the conspiracy guy from 20 years ago. No. He is he's
a ghoul.
He's a fucking psyop.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I think the Sandy Hook thing was the big turning point where it's like, these are like legit humans in deep mourning, and you're tormenting them.
Oh, I hope they get every fucking cent that man. Like I remember like well into like Trump's presidency. This was like right in the beginning. Fucking Alex Jones was like a fucking pig in shit. And like I remember I told you I watched his review of Last Jedi, and basically he's like, everything from that review is like every right-wing nut said all that shit from that review. But like he was like bragging about like all the money they were getting, and they like had new sound system, new studio, new big screens, and he's like wearing a Rolex. I'm like, fuck this guy. He's bragging, dude. Don't gloat. You know, that's the thing too with like the Rittenhouse taking pictures with Trump and everything, like a pig in shit right now. Going on Tucker. It's a recipe for fucking failure. I hope in a justified world, even though we don't live in one, he will fall down a rabbit hole of shit. I know people were making a joke saying that he'll be a congressperson. I made that joke. I was being ridiculous. But, you know, in this day and age, who the fuck knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. Who knows? He's a young man. He has his whole world. He gets to do whatever he wants now. I guess the subpoenas, I don't know. Like What happened with the before we wrap this up? What happened with the fucking Bannon one? Didn't he go to jail?
He got no, he did not go to jail. Oh yeah, he turned himself in and then was like immediately bonded out or whatever. They held him in criminal contempt and
Seinfeld money.
yeah, it's just, I mean, like, that's the thing, is that none of these people are getting consequences.
No,
you know?
only people like, oh, I forgot to bring him up last week. The only person who got like the biggest charge was the QAnon shaman.
Yeah.
The lovable Bison, our lovable shaman is the only one. Dude, the guy is a shaman.
Yeah.
He was just there to, like, I don't know, release the spirits of America onto
and he's clearly mentally ill. I mean, like,
well, yeah, he's definitely there. I'm joking. The guy's a total nut job. But like, he got them like almost 4 years, which has been like, I think that might be the most of anything everyone else is getting like just 6 months to a year. Do you see that Enrique Tarrio guy got like 6 months and he was trying to get out early? He was making all this bullshit. I love these like guys who act like they're so tough. Like these tough guys are like, I'll beat you up in the streets. If you mess with me, if you look at me wrong, I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to get down, bro.
Right.
And then they're like, they have their lawyer like, oh, the toilet paper's a little too harsh for him, and the food made him a little queasy the other day.
A mere single ply.
The pillows don't get.
Yeah.
He flipped the pillow over, and it wasn't cool on that side.
Right.
The toilet doesn't have a maximum flush that he demands. I mean, like, I love that. It was like, really, really okay, Proud Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, and the guy only got 6 months, something like, but like the shaman got him was 4 years. I'm like, why did you see his lawyer? The interview? That guy was great. I wonder why he got good. 4 years. That lawyer was like telling Trump that these people are fucking idiots.
The shaman has already filed an appeal with a new attorney and said his previous attorney was ineffective counsel.
The shaman said that?
Yeah. The shaman's new attorney, who has filed an appeal, has said that the shaman's previous attorney was ineffective, which I gotta say he's got a strong argument for, because basically his attorney called him like a short bus. Like,
listen, you know what? I'll say this about the shaman. He got 4 years, and I'm like, wow, but you know what? That should be considered the least sentence out of all these people. Yeah. You know what I mean? He shouldn't be the one who got the most. He should be like, that should be like the standard. Like that fucking lady from Frisco who got like 60 days.
60 days. She's still on Twitter daily talking about Trump, and
she should be in fucking prison for 6 years.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck these people. Like, that's why I'm like, what the fuck, man? That shaman guy. I'm like, I don't feel bad for him, but like in comparison to the fact that all these other monsters that were way worse, that were there to like literally kill people. Like the shaman guy is like a wannabe actor. He's like he's literally, you know what he is? He's the guy from fucking the Shang-Chi and Iron Man 3. He's the guy who the actor guy, Ben Kingsley's guy. That's him.
Basically.
That's him. Kind of.
Well,
he's a fucking patsy, and the fact that he got, I don't know. Like I said, I think it's funny. I think 4 years is the things that like most of these people should have gotten at least.
Yeah, all of them should have gotten. It's tough. Like, look, even 2 months. Let's just say you're an average person. All right, 2 months in jail is like devastating. You know, like that means you probably are going to lose your job.
Yep.
Right. And I don't know, like, if you have enough money to really kind of carry you through those 2 months.
Yep.
And
prison's expensive, actually.
Yep. And
especially private prisons.
Yeah. And like, you're kind of fucked for jobs from there on out because you've been in prison. And like, that's like a tough thing, like with family, is like, maybe your spouse is like, you know, I'm done with this. I didn't mind you watching Tucker every night, but now you're going to prison because you couldn't keep
we're done
together.
Like, this is my way out, actually.
Yeah.
Like,
so I mean, 2 months in jail, like that ain't no walk in the park.
Because and also like you could get out, and like sometimes you have like probation or whatever, or you have to like report. You get thrown back in if you do something wrong.
Well, that's the other thing, is that like a lot of times they'll give you like weird rules, like, well, you can't drink. And the next thing,
state.
Yeah. Can't leave the state. You have to drug test. You have to wear this monitoring bracelet or whatever. So like, while people are negotiating their plea, they have a lot of leeway. You know, like if you're not yet guilty and you want to travel out of town to visit family on Thanksgiving, you can go to a court and say, look, I am not yet guilty. Can I do, you know, but like,
after, I'm guilty. I'm
right.
not guilty.
But after you've been in prison, like you're not going before a judge anymore. You're going before a parole officer who makes like 40 grand a year and they're in charge of your life now, you know? So,
you know what I want to say too, before we move on to the last thing, this going back to like the Rittenhouse thing, I really do hope that tomorrow we get a photo of Rittenhouse eating Thanksgiving with Judge Schroeder at Judge Schroeder's house.
That'd be awesome.
That would be like, I wouldn't be mad about that. I would be like, yeah, that sounds about right. Like,
I hope the photo is of them leaning into one another over the Thanksgiving table, pinkies on either side of a wishbone, and like just making a wish, you know.
Speaking of chuds though, did you see real quick, did you see the new Kid Rock video?
No, I've heard about it, but I have not seen it.
I saw like 2 seconds and it was awful. It's just like every right-wing grievance right now. But the best part about the video, best part was that Weird Al ratio the fuck out of Kid Rock into, he put out a tweet and said, no, that is not me parodying Kid Rock. I just want to get, I'm misquoting it. Let me see if I want to find the actual quote.
Yeah. It was really funny. I saw this.
And it was like the most like retweeted, like, let me see. Hold on.
Yeah. Well, Kid Rock is a weird one to begin with. I mean, he is a wealthy suburbanite who... Yeah,
he was a rich kid who played like, who LARPed as some working class guy from Detroit.
Yep.
This guy was like a huge used car sales dealer or whatever.
Yeah.
Weird Al, to everybody that's congratulating me right now on my new Kid Rock parody video, let me clarify, that's not me, that's actually Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Someone did a picture of him and they say he looked like Mike Lindell, and then someone photoshopped Mike Lindell's face onto him and it didn't look that much different.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I don't know, fuck Kid Rock. I never liked Kid Rock. I always thought he sucked. I remember...
you know, when he came out with his shtick back in the day, I remember thinking it was a real fun jam, you know?
Yeah.
Little did I know.
Yeah, I guess you admitted today that you have terrible taste in music.
Must be.
or you're an easy customer. I'm just fucking you, but like, let me tell you my quick Kid Rock story. It's not really that great, but I went to Warped Tour.
Yeah.
I think this was like the third one or something like that. Or the fourth one. It was like late 90s or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of my friends or whatever says, "Oh, you gotta see this guy, this little kid cursing on stage."
Oh yeah.
And then it was found out that it wasn't little kid, it was like Josie, and he was like in his 20s. He had like a liver condition, made him like really small. He died young.
Yes.
But then Kid Rock was there. It was this white dude with blonde dreads, and I was like, who's this douchebag? This guy, like, I want to watch the cursing kid.
Right.
That kid's there's something, you know, great about that guy.
Kid'll go far.
Yeah, but this fucking guy, Kid Rock, sucks. Like, I always found him incredibly phony.
Yeah.
There was something about him. So, yeah, whatever. Right. You know, maybe just judge a character. You know. So it's all right. It's all right. You like Morrissey, you know.
There you go. Yeah.
And who else is what other fascist singers do you like?
There's probably a bunch. The best thing I saw on TikTok not that long ago was some girl posted a video, 80s video, and some girl in the comments was like bad mouthing her left and right for supporting a racist and a fascist, and it was a David Byrne video.
I think I heard. Yeah. Wait.
Anyway, so it was a David Byrne video.
Oh, this is so funny. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I forget the song. I think it was like Life During Wartime or something like that. And anyway, eventually, as it turns out, this chick that was giving her a headache for it thought it was Morrissey. And it wasn't, it wasn't Morrissey at all. It was like funny. David Byrne. So yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I've kind of like separated art from, like all these bands have like.
I'll tell you this:
like,
I can't do that. I just if I find out that you're like an absolutely awful person. I mean, like, am I gonna go and like burn all my CDs? No, but I'm not gonna like go pay to see them live.
Oh yeah, well, like I don't know.
Like,
I mean, like the Ramones had shitty people in them, you know.
Well, Johnny Ramone was an asshole.
Yeah.
But,
well, he was a chud. I mean, he was a proto chud, you know.
Yeah, but
they all do. Like so many bands have like problematic.
Well, okay, here's a funny one. Slayer, right? I don't know about the whole band, but like the main guy, whatever, was taking a picture of him like proudly holding like a Trump book. This was
okay, sure,
back in like 2016 or whatever, 2017. Super psyched, supported Trump, whatever. And I was like thinking about like in the 80s, there was this documentary that went around. It was like about Nazi skinheads in Pennsylvania, and it was a big documentary on HBO. And Slayer got a lot of shit because the main leader of the group was wearing a Slayer shirt throughout the whole entire, and they're like, Slayer's like, whoa, wait. But then I saw, isn't Perry King his name or something?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Was holding like that book, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I could see why that Nazi.
Yeah.
Kind of tracks a little bit.
Well, like even like the Monty Python people now are like,
oh,
I mean, like there's so much.
I can't stand those like old like stuff like
yeah.
It's like, dude, like, oh, cancel culture is bad, or
right.
PC. Oh, is it rich old white man from England?
Sir
is
John,
it too
please.
PC for you? Get the fuck out of here.
Here, Order of the British Empire, knighthood.
Yeah, knighted. Oh, is it John Cleese? Like,
yeah.
Fuck out of here, you blue blood.
So,
you know, it's like, I just think it's so funny. It's like, dude, I don't care what anyone says. That recent thing from what's his name? The guy who directed like the first Alien. We talked about that.
Oh, Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, just like bitching about like, it's like,
yeah.
Come on, dude, that shit's so old. It's getting tiring. Just make a movie that people like, or don't make movies anymore. Yeah. And here's the funny thing about that. Before we wrap all this up, the thing about the movies, and I think people don't realize, is that they're attacking Marvel movies, but this has been going on for decades now. The movie studios, like the theaters, became like these big conglomerates, and they choked out independent film companies years ago. And I remember going to the theater one time. This is like early 2000s New York. And I'd go to the theaters, and like literally one theater, like on 6 screens, was like Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.
I was like, really? That's like, is there no fucking other movies out? And the people were complaining about Marvel movies, but I'm like, no, this shit's been going on in the studios for years.
Right.
Like Marvel MCU just learned how to like do it right and like make movies that people actually like. But like this has been going on for years, where the being like conglomerates and the so-called art pictures were pushed down independent. This is decades ago. So like some of these directors are full of shit because they know full well that this has been like this for decades now.
Yeah.
They know it. It's just that they haven't been invited to make a Marvel movie. But don't worry, Scorsese's working on one. I guarantee you something. Okay. Yeah. I guess we were going to talk about QAnon Dallas rally, but I mean, I have nothing to say about these clowns. These fucking freaks have been hanging out in Dallas.
Gilly Plaza, yeah.
For like a month now, right?
Yeah, I read a big article about it. A lot of it's sad. You know, I mean, like this is like, there's definitely a political element. These are definitely dangerous Trump people. Yeah. They are out there actively trying to take away your vote. They're actively out there trying to spread COVID. They're doing terrible things, but it's also like a mental health thing. Like a lot of these have family members that are like just devastated. They've lost their family. I guess there's a grift to it too. One of the big ones there is like
huge grift.
Yeah, but like an old school, like just sign over your bank to me, and like it's just sad. Like a lot of them have had their
there's so many scam artists involved. Like I said, we talked about that like Omni Hotel one with Michael Flynn from like months ago.
Yeah,
it was like $3,000 for to go to that. Really? Did it need to cost $3,000? No, it's a grift.
It's a grift.
All that is. I gotta watch it. There's a documentary or something on Netflix where they interviewed that woman who was in QAnon, who like went to, it was like in Arizona. Remember, she was like knocking over all the masks. And like, yeah, I guess she like got herself out of it or something. I don't know. I need to watch it and see if she's probably just full of shit.
Yeah.
Probably just wanted to save her career. She's like, oh shit, I got caught on camera.
Right.
I'm a fucking psychopath. All right, well, you know what? This was a what else before we go?
Yeah.
What else are you thankful for?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Well, you know what I'm thankful for?
What are you thankful for?
The potato soft taco is back at Taco Bell.
So
and I'm thankful. And if you go there and use the code 75% less rat hair, they will probably tell you to leave.
Yes.
Here, people pull in the driveway. Want to use the code? 75% less rat hair. Sir, please. Like, I'm just trying to do my job.
Right, yeah, look.
Can you leave me alone, please?
Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, on that note, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Joseph.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And on that note, everyone, happy Thanksgiving from YSGOAT.
All right.
You know what we'll still be going on about? Well, you know what I'll be still be going on about?
What?
That turkey tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah. They eat it until there's like just a carcass left. All right. On that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
And you still going on about
that.
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.